Ooh, that's not right. Listen. Welcome to Monday Night Tour Ramblings, where I may start off completely messed up because, well, StreamYard doesn't think you should start off on a full screen, and I wasn't paying attention. I hope everyone had a wonderful day. I'm going to be going for, I don't know, roughly 3 hours. There isn't a lot of toy news, but then again, there is um, a big GI Joe vehicle, I guess, to speak of. But we're going to get into that, and I kind of want to talk about maybe what my topic was going to be. And we're going to talk about that early on. And I decided to actually change it up due to the whole Haslab thing. And you'll kind of get my reasons on why I changed it. So we're kind of going to have a quick little topic earlier before we get to it. But anyway, hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. And thank you guys all for anyone here who maybe decided to drop in here and spend their first day back to work with me, which is great. Again, I love the fact that some of you are waiting for this, and this is your relaxation. This is you hanging out at the bar, maybe getting away from the family that you maybe dealt with all weekend, unwinding from that first day back to work. Anyway, my weekend. Wow, there's nothing worse than buying a Christmas tree for $225 at Target and knowing that could be spent on action figures. But being an adult, you have to do that. But it actually got kind of worse because I decided I wanted a new Christmas tree. I'm tired of my old one fanning everything out. Total pain in the ass. There's no doubt about that. And so I ordered one off Walmart. It was on sale Black Friday or Cyber Monday, whatever it was. Normally like $190. I think that's pretty good for a tree. It was $84. It finally comes. I put it up and it just looks bad. And I know it looks bad, but I'm hoping that it's gonna, like, someone's gonna come in and be like, oh, that looks really nice. And my ex came in and dropping off Olivia, and she was like, man, that tree looks bad. And I was like, yeah, I know. So I got to return that tree. I picked up another tree and I opened it up and I was a little aggravated. I thought it was missing some stuff. Wasn't missing anything. But as I branched it out, I realized how much nicer this tree is. The only problem is it's all LED lights, and I have all these Hallmark ornaments that plug into the tree. The Defiant, two different um, Enterprises, the Millennium Falcon, Superman that spins around, the Borg, all this stuff that I don't really know what to do. I guess I could run a strand of lights through the middle. I'm not going to do it this year, maybe next year. We haven't decorated it. I think we're doing that tomorrow after our show. So quickly, let's just get started off on the right note. And that is, well, I don't see these too often. So I have to find where I guess everything is right now.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
We got Ronnie Trickshot with a $2 super chat saying, just hurry up and get to the giveaways for fuck's sakes. Yes, you get that with every super chat now. Yes, I'll get to the giveaways. I got 300 giveaways to give away. But I need to push up to 9,000 subs. So please start subbing, and then I can give more stuff. Man, oh man, what an awful way to grow your channel. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But anyway, yeah, the whole. But I got the new tree. I'm looking forward to decorating it. It does look nice. And again, I'd rather spend $225 on action figures. But hey, you know what? I think I bought my last tree like over 10 years ago. Still have it. Maybe I'll get a small tree next year for all the Hallmark ornaments that plug in, do something like that. But anyway, I also went downstairs and I created a little bit of content. So if you didn't see, I dropped my top 10 uh my top 10 classified. Um, Please feel free to go there. Tell me how wrong I am. I picked the wrong stuff. I'm a huge fan when people tell me I'm wrong. Actually, the response has actually been pretty good, to be honest. I love the fact that we can have different opinions and it's really not right or wrong. GI Jetman jumping in here, a member for 3 months, and you get the vaunted.
Fucking Phil Collins.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And look at this. Cobweb jumping in here, a member for 20 months.
Fucking Phil Collins.
I'd say poor Phil Collins, but I don't feel that bad for him. But anyway, go check it out. I had a lot of fun doing this. I'm looking forward. I'm going to be doing a couple other videos, and then I got to get into doing my getting back to doing the next of the classified waves that I had started on. I think I'm going to do the retro figures first, then possibly the vehicles, specialty figures, and then I want to have all 200 out before I start creating that, or at least I know that they're going to hit. But I did drop this, so go check it out. I also dropped the Mouse King. I'll be honest, I wasn't gonna order this, and I saw the double jointed elbows, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a chance. And I have to say, when I popped off the 7 heads or 5 heads, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 heads, and I really liked the figure. It was a lot of fun just looking at it. The detail in it is absolutely awesome. I don't think anyone's going to be too upset about this, so be sure to check it out, man. This is actually a really, really good figure. So anyway, and then I got back. If you're a channel member, you've probably seen them. I got back to the classic reviews. So Wednesday, I'll be dropping the what was the little bomb? I don't even remember the name of it now. little bomb truck, and then I got Lamprey, and then the Moray will be dropping this Sunday. I know people are excited for that, but anyway, that's kind of what I have coming up. There's 54 people here. Please hit that like button. Let's start saying hi to some people, because wow, you know how I do this. It's going to take a little bit of time. So we have Cobweb in here first. Krusty O'Crow, Cages Custom. We have Sabir del Norte. Did I say Cages Customs? I'm already, this is going to be long. Sean Forrester is here. Cooking with Eric, GI Bro, who has the best guns in the community. Snow Wolf, HK Viper. Evil Dookie here. And then we have the Odorous. That's as far as you get. I shipped out 2 things from the giveaway. The Odorous was one of them. I'll be honest, I never looked at your name until we were shipping it out. Holy crap. Your last name, and again, my kid's mother, her last name is Kamenecki. You thought that was crazy. No, that's nothing compared to however your last name is. Izzy Trevi here, SCS Dog. We have Machine Man, GI Jetman, David R, Woody 222. And you know what Woody gets? Is he gets that because he just loves the fart sound. I don't fully understand it yet, but hey, whatever. There is one moderator, Action Figs, jumping here. Painful Thoughts, or Pain's Toy Samples, as he once was called. MTC Tommy Roth has joined us here. U.S. Combat Dojo, Cooter's Garage. We have Debo DNA, who I've not seen in quite some time. Great to have you here. When is your band coming to Detroit to play? Because not only do I want to go see a show, it'd be pretty cool to hang out with you. Once a year at Joe Fest just isn't enough. Jay Astro has jumped in here. And then we have, you guys all better get ready. Hi, Ken. Hi, Ken. Hi, Ken. Hi, Ken. Hi, Ken. Hi, Ken. Saying hi to myself and only myself, no one else, then to hate watch for the next 3 hours. Steve Cham is here. We have Bees Battleground saying you and me can both. He was talking to him. Viper Scout is here. Dan Olton. We have Menhuza here. Woo! Wow, I have one moderator here. I can't believe I haven't seen the other one yet. But hey, you know what? It happens. No Jin here. Noah Jin. I'm not sure. Again, I want my names back. Odin01 jumping in here. Did I say hi to Machine Man? I'm not sure if I did. If not, I just did. We have Ronnie Trickshot. We have Cowshave or Callister. I do like how you did Callister. It's pretty interesting to be 100% honest. All right. Clint Jorgensen. We have Hella Giga jumping in here. We have Bobby Wold that says, who needs a Christmas tree? I just stack up all my G.I. Joe figures I got from Hasbro in the last 3 months and a pyramid. Throw lights on that. Yeah, but if you add the Operation Monster Force stuff, it's even that much higher. Then I truly do need a ladder to get up on it. A matter of fact, to be honest, this one I actually need a ladder to get to the top to the fan. Is 7.5 feet tall. I'm not reaching that. William C. Emery jumping in saying, hey, Punk, what's up, chat? Hope all is well. It sure is. Did I say hi to Snow Wolf? I think that I did, but I'm going to say it again. There is Tony's Figs, who might or might not be on a show with me tomorrow. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. There he is, my other moderator, my first moderator, Matthew Matson, jumping in with the all right, Beardy McBeardson jumping in, Alex Martinez. Whew. All right, and then we say, oh wait, we said hi, Cobweb. He was the first one in, so let's see. Is there anyone else? If I'm missing anyone, I do apologize. I do apology. That doesn't make much sense, but a lot of stuff I say doesn't make a lot of sense. There we have War Chest Full of Toys saying War Chest is here. I wish I had that. If you ever met War Chest, you think I can talk. This guy can talk and talk and talk. And we finally met somebody that can shut him up. And I should have got that girl's number just so when we want War Chest to be quiet, we could just call her up, put her on speakerphone, and you could see how fast he could be quiet. Love you, Scott. Patrick Stocko jumping in here. Woo, my goodness. There are 59 people watching, so please hit that like button if you haven't yet. It is greatly appreciated. It tells everyone, hey, you know what? We're still watching this show. There's a lot of other good shows on, but we are still watching this show because we hate our lives. Sean Jones jumping in, say, what's up, Joe Bros? All right. I think I said hi to everyone. And if I missed you, I do apologize. We'll come back around. I'm sure you'll make some sort of comment. Anyway, quickly, 58 people here. We got to do something. So tomorrow on the Circle of Jerks, we are having a special guest, and that is none other than one part owner of Delta 17. You may know him as that Bret Hart lover, even though Bret Hart can't shut the fuck up and take his foot out of his mouth. And that is Toy Connections. Hi, Ken. Hi. So everyone say hi to Ken. He will be on tomorrow. We're not just talking Delta 17, but I believe winter is coming, and he's going to be talking a little bit about what is coming out. So I don't think the link is done, but you guys know how to find Circle of Jerks. Head over to Baldy's channel. He usually puts it up like 4 hours ahead of time. Yeah. Yes, Bret Hart's on Cameo too, but he only says good things about himself. Yes, Bret Hart is the GOAT. Just ask him. There is a short where there's a short that goes on YouTube or on Facebook Reels, whatever it is, and it's someone asking Bret Hart who the top 5 wrestlers are, and he literally says, he starts naming, and he says, well, excluding me, I put myself on it. I send it to Ken every single time, and every time I send it to Ken, even he's embarrassed for Bret Hart, as he should be. But I have to send it to Ken every single time because There's no defending it, and Ken knows it. Shellback has jumped in here along with Plastic Skulls. All right, but anyway, there's 60 people watching right now. So not only on Circle of Jerks is Ken from Toy Connections going to be on, but we have Terry. We also have Tony. We obviously have Baldy because it's on his channel. But we also have this fool right here, Toy Optics. He is 110 subs away from hitting 1,000. He has the watch hours. He needs to hit that. So I'm thinking between this show and tomorrow, we should be able to get him to 100 subs, right? Get him that 110 subs. I'm going to be promoting this all night. If you haven't subbed, just click on that, head on over there, boom, hit subscribe, come on back. Do this guy a solid. He spent many years as a background character on Attack 'em. Now he broke away. He's livened up. Again, let's say I don't even like that guy. And if you don't like Spec, that's on you. But he's the one who gave us. And you can't tell me you don't love that. He also doesn't like ET. Like I also found I also got found ET at Ross. And look, ET, his heart lights up. I had to buy it. So please head on over there. Give him the like that he needs. Look at this. Devil Dog jumping in here saying wrestling would have died in the 90s without Steve Austin, Triple H, The Rock, DX, and the Acolyte Protection Agency. I wouldn't say it would have died, but it would not have been what it is. It was something special in the 90s. There's no doubt about it. I will give you that. It's probably my favorite era, even though I was at WrestleMania 3. I don't know if I ever told you the story, but I was there with 93,173 people. It was great. Lego Star Wars kid jumping in here. Bros, we can't get big stuff like Sky Striker one day without a Haslab project. We're not getting a Sky Striker. I don't want a Sky Striker because I don't have that much room. Subs for a giveaway. Well, he does go to Ross a lot. Maybe he can find some stuff to give away to try and grow his channel. I tell him to just buy subs like some of these other toy tubers. It's really easy from my understanding. He has gained 1 sub though. Come on, guys. Make sure you hit that. Head on over there and do all those fun things. Seriously, he is really a good guy. Who would have known? Him and I never talked till one fateful day because of Tony. So Action Figs sold separately, who will be a guest in 2 weeks on Thursday with a friend. So I'm looking forward to that with Robert. All right. So head on over there tomorrow, Circle of Jerks, 6:30-ish. We'll have Ken on. I don't know if he's coming on right away. He works, so he works from home, he said. So he said he can make it. He better make it, or else I'm gonna be a little pissed off because I was the one that brokered this whole deal and everything. So anyway, so this is something I should probably do a little more. I know not a lot of people see him. I don't know if I'm, again, I used to never believe in the shadow ban stuff, but it's weird because ever since I got the little check mark on Instagram, I feel like I've totally gotten shadow banned. I feel like if you post more pictures on Instagram, they start to shadow ban you. Isn't that what this whole fucking thing is for? Is to post shit? But anyway, I wanted to do some stuff with my Christmas decorations. And I was like, this is the perfect thing to do it. Alpine. Now, again, before someone says anything, and before anyone says anything, yes, Alpine is putting the star on the tree, even though he has his grappling hook in the top where the star would go. But it was the only place I could get it that it would stay. um, I got Hawk kind of watching them. Again, it's just fun to do something different. I got mainframe here, kind of setting up the lights and what's gonna light up. Again, it was just kind of fun doing this. Snake Eyes here. Now, the reason why these aren't in here is because this is Olivia's job and she was supposed to have done it already. But I don't want to do it because, believe it or not, that little girl enjoys these little things that she does, and she's always done it. So, um, Tebow says Alpine's into self-sacrifice. But like again, it's easy to hold. Again, don't need stand. It's crazy. But yeah. And thank you. Again, I had fun doing this. I got Storm Shadow just kind of watching what's going on. There's Beachhead, and you can imagine Beachhead. He's grumbly. He's all grumpy about having to do this with Hawk making him do it. But again, I had fun. Again, that's what this community, this is what this is supposed to be about, right? Just have a little bit of fun. And these things here, I've told you guys about, ET here. If you've been watching the Circle Jerks, I think that's where it's come up even more. My mom used to do ceramics with my grandmother. My grandmother had kiln, so not just her, but all the daughter-in-laws, and I think my aunt also. They used to go over there, and obviously there were molds and Santa and Mrs. Claus. Now the Christmas tree is, I believe, one that they bought. Everyone has one of those, it seems. But the Santa and Mrs. Claus, those are things that my mom made. And I remember telling my dad, I said, when I move out, I want those. I want those to come to me. And it was really the only thing I can say that I said I absolutely had to have and wanted. So every year I have the Hiss here, the Dragonfly. Everything now is downstairs into the G.I. Joe room, just on the floor. But I love putting these things out there. It's just a lot of fun to do that stuff. So, again, and then to kind of decorate it, I'm not decorating. I'm not going to leave these here. But I had fun doing this. This is a good team building exercise. Okay, so all these little lights, my mom glued them. She hot glued them all in. So the ones that are missing have either come loose over time, they were broken and I had to get them out, or I would shake them enough that it would break the hot glue, and then we bought more. So there's only like all the ones, like you can't really see in this picture, but all the ones that are missing are because I kind of broke them or they were already loose. So Olivia puts them in there. And it's her little tradition now. But I gotta say this, it was it's she doesn't have to plug them all in. If I could get them all out, I would, because I do worry about them eventually breaking over time. And Russell Lemieux says, Mama was into that shit too. Yeah. Mine made some big ass eagles. We never had eagles. I've talked about having the spaceship. I literally finally threw the spaceship away because I couldn't wash it enough to get the smell of smoke out. Inside of it, where it goes up, it reeked. It was so bad, and I finally said, I can't deal with this. So I finally got rid of it. It was just so damn bad. But anyway, yeah. So that's that. I just kind of wanted to show that off. I enjoyed doing this stuff. So, again, a lot of fun to do that. So, give me 1 second. I gotta play something really quickly. Let me find something short that you guys will enjoy. Introducing Hasbro's all-new motorized battle tank, the Mobat. It can go forward and over things. It can make tight turns so when Cobra is behind him and he needs to turn around. It has reverse so when G.I. Joe needs to retreat, G.I. Joe doesn't retreat. It even has a tow hitch so when you want to tow things like the Hell and Grand Slam, and when you want to get there very, very, very slowly. Hey, look, there's Grand Slam now, waving to the crowd. Almost there, guys. There we go. G.I. Joe Mobile comes with everything you see here, including Steeler action figure with accessories. Batteries and Scotch tape to hold the battery compartment closed come separately. By Hasbro. Quickly. Okay. So Russell Lemieux says, was it an ashtray? No, but my mom made plenty of ashtrays. She made plenty of ceramic ashtrays. And yeah. Devil Dog says, well, I'm sold on a Mobat. All right. So I started shipping the stuff out. I shipped out 2 things. I have 3 more packed. I'm trying to do as much through work as possible. Again, hashtag rigged. As you guys all know, I have nothing to do better with my time and try and tarnish the reputation that I spent 4 years building, where I could just give this stuff away to my friends. All right. So I'm just kind of reading over some of the stuff that I wanted to go over. All right. So my original topic was going to be how great this toy community is. And it really stemmed because right before the Arctic Hiss dropped, Bobby B had Bobby B posted something on his Instagram which made me laugh. And let's see if I can pull it up really quick. Because it was in his story. I don't know if it's still there or not. Let's see if I have the picture here. I do. So anyway, he posted this picture. And I'm going to try and pull it up quickly here so you guys can see it. And we all know the whole issue when it comes to people stealing stuff and not giving credit. So I quickly, he says, he posted this. He has his grenade. Says, posted says, "Fucker looks badass, don't it?" With the, I was your Uber driver like 3 months ago. Please leave me alone. And I put my logo over it. Obviously, I put my logo over it, enough where you could still see it. And I was going to talk about how great this community is. He recently posted another thing of militaries. When my short friend is pinned down, and I was going through like all this. I was thinking like all these things that we do. When I look at this community, it's one of those things where it's like, I've been heavily involved in the skateboard community and the punk rock community, but they're truly communities where everyone is here. But within this toy community, it's not like that. And I'm sure it is for some people in some areas. But for me, it's like the skateboarding community. Yeah, maybe if I was more involved as a pro or in the industry, it would be networked the way the toys are, but it never was. Maybe if I was like Debo right here, he plays in a hardcore band, a punk band, right? That community would have been maybe more broad. But for me, it wasn't, right? It's everything was, we were together. We all did stuff together. We don't get to do that. That's what Joe Fest is. It's so special to me that we all meet there. Why AR was so special. And I was really going to talk about that because, again, you meet these like-minded people that you're like, wow, there are other people that I can send shit to that I can't just post anything. But guys like Tony and Matthew, Ed, and all these other guys that I talk to and I can talk to about other things other than toys, you realize how many people there are. And again, there's other community. I mean, there's other niche groups in this community that also have done the same thing. And in all honesty, the reason why I did not do a thumbnail about it was because of the Bobby Vala and Kenny stuff that's going on. Because I know it's going to come up, so I'm just going to bring it up. If you're not on social media, maybe you missed it or whatever. But all the stuff has kind of come out. Uh, Cousin Kenny from the Toy Depot, I think, is um, his lawsuit has finally been resolved, and he's put everything out there. This is stuff that I had seen a long time ago. I'm not friends with the guy. I've only met him and chatted with him a little bit. So I before people start bringing up, oh, how can you say the community is great? Yeah, that's one bad aspect, of that stuff that's going on. But when I look at everything else and I see how great this is, I tell everyone, hey, be nice to people, and you don't have to worry about going there and scalping everything. Or trying to get stuff from scalpers, right? No one wants to do that. But I've made friends with guys all over the country, all over the world, but all over the country that if I miss out on something, which is very rare, I'm able to reach out and say, hey, does anyone have this for trade or for cost? We can figure something out. Quickly, Matthew says, how great then you actually stepped into the community and you realize it's terrible. There's terrible aspects of it, but there are some. Matthew says, I saw a post this morning about a guy asking what everyone thought of AI posts, and when he didn't get the answer he wanted, he just went to arguing with everyone. That's awesome. Patrick says, what shows are you going to in 2026? Joe Fest right now. I don't know if I'm going to be going to anything else because we have literally after Joe Fest, we're headed straight down to Florida. So I'm not sure if I'm going to have money for anything else other than like stuff that's right in my area. Again, I'll do probably Motor City Comic Con or maybe little ones here, but nothing I'll really post about. I'd like to go to AR again. I'd be 100% on it. And I would love to go to Legion's Con, but those are a week apart. So asking for that much time off and that much money is something completely unattainable. Ryan Daly jumping in here saying, what's up, Punk? Ronnie Trickshot says, wrong week to talk about that. There has been some rubbish posted this week. And you're absolutely correct. And like I said, that's one of the bad aspects of some of the stuff, right? It's an unfortunate part of the community. And I was all ready, and I'm like, hey, this is actually pretty cool. I can get screenshots of some of the stuff that friends and I have shot back and forth. Like I've done this to Bobby B a couple of times when he's posted something, because there have been other people that have they steal images. This is the reason why Baldy started putting, his watermark on. That's why Bobby B started to. That's why I always have a Punk with Toys like on anything that like I'm posting other than like my regular pictures. So when someone does take it, and they will, because douchebags are going to douchebag, right? But how much fun is it when someone grabs someone else's that they're friends with and you slap something over it? Or when I rag on Tony, and even Tony kind of gets a little sensitive at times. Transformers Joe 1986 saying, hey, everyone, man, I don't feel like I've ever seen this name. So
wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
And if you've been here, I just like that. The Odorist says, if there is another Misfits reunion, shall you go? I'm not a huge Misfits fan, but I will say this. I'll say this. The Misfits without Glenn Danzig are not the Misfits. My personal opinion. I can't listen to their other stuff that doesn't have anything to do with that doesn't have Danzig singing. But would I like to see them? Yes. I'm not an arena guy. So they play in those big stadiums, and I know Gorilla Biscuits are coming again with H2O. I don't know if they're coming here. I'd like to go see them. because I've never got to see Gorilla Biscuits. I got to see Civ once. That's not Gorilla Biscuits. And I do want to say hi to JoeFan84. Says, I'm not going to Joe Fest next year, unfortunately. Yeah, but you have other. I mean, you're scheduling something else, So I fully understand. Graph jumping in here, say, "Dang, late to the show. Hope I didn't miss the Motu news." I don't have any Motu news. I don't. Transformers Joe says, "Perfect. Yep, found you a couple weeks ago. Dig your contact, but thank you very much." And contrary to popular belief, I don't hate Transformers. I just hate when Spec talks about Transformers. Into Mystery says, "Who is taller, Danzig or Mainframe?" Well, Glenn Danzig is not much taller than I am. I would assume Mainframe in classified form is probably roughly in the 5'7", maybe 5'8" range. So yeah. I've never seen DRI either, but they've played here a bunch of times, and I've never been a huge DRI fan, but I would like to see DRI. Just because they're DRI. So again, like I just had an idea for like how great the community is, and just the way we share things, how we go back and forth. That's fun. Guys like Ronnie Trickshot, guys from across the pond that you've become friends with, and it's not just this group that I have become associated with, but again, other guys have done the exact same thing. You look at Jerkin Gaines, and the group that they've been. Oh, sorry, it is a Circle Jerks. Yes. I don't think they're coming to Detroit, which really, 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 really bothers me. Because that is something I definitely want to see. But and Todd C jumping in here say Punk doesn't see eye to eye with anyone except Seth Green. No, I got to look down at Seth Green. Matthew says he's the smallest, so he'd have to be 5'2". Tunnel Rat is 5'4". So Tunnel Rat is the same height as me. Yeah, I would not see Insane Clown Posse. Although I did see them wrestle. And they put on a hell of a show, independent show. Had a lot of fun with that. Cobweb taking off to work for a good night, everyone. All right, man. Have a great night. But again, like guys like Jerkin Games, they've cultivated their own, their own little. I guess we have subsects, right? Like, our own little our subgroups. I know everyone wants to say that, there is no such thing as a group. There is. Like there are little cliques in each group. It's like that with skateboarding. When I got back into it, I kind of got lumped in. I definitely got lumped in with the modern skate guys for modern skate, because that's where I was skating at all the time, and I got to know all of their riders, and I was always at the park and everything. So I was kind of lumped in with their group. Punk rock was the same way. But you see a lot of different groups, whether it be, the guys with Toy Anxiety and Geek Dad Life. And it's great that, and again, maybe there's other cultures or other communities. I'm sure there are, but like skateboarding, you're not doing on the internet. You're not interacting with people like this. Same with, in the punk scene. But here, again, you would think that you're just going to sit here and you're going to talk about toys. You're going to do your reviews, and that's it. But you make friends, and it makes you rethink every time you told your kid, those aren't your real friends. You don't know them in real life. And it's definitely one of those, like, hey, you know what? I guess you can make real friends. And again, you have this interaction, but for the most part, unfortunately, unlike all the stuff. And again, I knew about this stuff, or I knew parts of what had happened with Kenny. I didn't know the full aspect, and now every single, again, every single person that's involved in the community uh, has had their say in it, whether it's something negative about it or something positive. Well, there's nothing negative, or there's nothing positive to be said about it. Um, but that's just one poor aspect of it, right? You know, that's a subculture of a group of people that tend to always have problems with everyone, where, you know, some of us are having a fucking great old time enjoying life, enjoying our toys. And again, becoming friends with, Bobby B, Tony, Matthew, Ed, all the guys that that we've met at Joe Fest, and all the fun, man. It's like this community is really good. And I'll keep telling people, make friends with people, because you're not always going to be able to get what you want. And sometimes you're going to have something that you pick up because you know it's going to be worth something to somebody, and you can turn around and trade it to somebody. It's not really scalping. I don't consider that scalping, because you grab something, you're like, hey, you know what? This might be really hard to get later on. Why don't I grab it and hold on to it? And then, hell, maybe I can sell it later on. Don't go buy everything. I was at Ross this week. So I go from Ross, and then I go to Target, and I see the same guy there, and he's literally he's on FaceTime, talking to, I'm assuming, this other guy that owns a store. They're the guy that owns a store. I don't ever go in there, and they're one of those people that instead of going and getting a distributor, they run around to Targets, to Ross, to Ollie's, and try and pick up anything that they think is going to be worth money, and then put it in their store. Again, to me, that's like, whatever, dude. Like, I'll just go to Sergeant Reds. I'll go to Sergeant Reds. He's gonna get it, or I'm gonna find someone else. I won't pay that type of stuff with people. That's not how you're supposed to run a business. You're not supposed to go buy shit from Target and then turn around and sell it in your store. But we know a lot of people do it. So, G.I. Jetman says, you guys are the only friends I have. Hope that's okay. No, again, it's a Jeremiah. I mean, it's truly this different culture and world, and not just with toys. In general, like, we live in a different world where if you're ingrained in a culture, especially like this, in a community, you can make friends through this weird device that we thought we were only going to be doing computer equation, or we only thought we were going to do like math equations on and shit like that. So there's nothing wrong with it. All right. It's harder and harder to meet people as we get older. I don't like leaving my house. It's not that easy to meet people. Evil Dookie says, finding this community on YouTube has helped me explain to my collection displays. Grateful for everything that has helped me. And Evil Dookie, you dropped a great damn video. I watched it this weekend. You really gave me, I'm like, damn, now I want to do more shit with mine. Crash jumping in here, gifting 1 Punk membership. So you know what? They get a
welcome to the creamery.
And it was Jedi on the Gray Pass. So congratulations and thank you so much, Crash. I know I saw a few more people jump in here. There's Kenzo's Creations jumping in and saying evening, Punk and peeps. Graf says, I'm here for the drama. Got my chips and soda at my side, ready to watch the chaos. I have no drama. This is between other people in the community. You are more than welcome to. All you have to do is go on YouTube. You will find it. I mean, I can say after reading it, discussing it with many people that were there, both sides, it could have been handled better, but I think it was handled much worse on one person's side. Again, when it looks like somebody just tries to know they're not going to win a lawsuit, but wants to bury you as much as possible in financial debt. It's kind of a douchebag move, but hey, you know what? What do you expect? Sergeant Rez, John jumping in here says, wait, you have friends? Yes, that's why I come in there. You're obligated to be my friend when I walk through your store. The odorist says, dear Lord, there's a comic shop in the South Bay that is totally scalping and documented on Instagram on the reg, not naming it though. So I do not know the name of this. A matter of fact, John's actually the one that he knows the name. I don't ever, it's actually a little bit, I think it's actually closer than where John is. But we actually found out because we have a Michigan Facebook group to help that was helping people find stuff, especially during the pandemic. And my buddy started, he had to bump people out because he found out that we would post like, hey, Target has this, Walmart has this, and they were running there buying everything, and then it's in their shop. And Greg was like, fuck you, dude. This is not what this is for. But guys like, Sergeant Reds, they do it the proper way. So Gun Bunny Customs jumping in and saying, what's up, everyone? And what is this? Oh, my goodness. Lost Ranger. Woo. Says, I'm nearly 40 and all my friends are like Corey Feldman. That's sad to hear, but you get it.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
And Gun Bunny became a YouTube member, so you get the, where the hell is it?
Welcome to the Creamery.
Thank you so much, Gun Bunny. And thank you, Lost Ranger, for jumping in here. We're getting to that age that unfortunately people are going to start passing away, and it's worse if they, if it's of their own doing. And I can talk about this because I've done 2 Thursday with the friends where it was a big thing of topic. There's 84 people watching right now, so I'm going to drop this, and I want you all, if you haven't, to please head on over to 1/5 of the Circle of Jerks Toy Optics spec. Hit that like. He is, let's refresh this really quick. He started off at 110 subs away from that 1,000. He's gained to 2. I know a lot of people are already friends with him, or not friends with him, subscribe to him, but please head on over there. Just click it really quick. Boom. Wolverine. I love the name. I also love that you have 2 Batmans kissing. If you don't know 2 Batmans kissing, you look at Wolverine and his 2 little eyepieces. It's 2 Batmans kissing. I had gone to Ross to get a few things. I missed out on at one point. Got some good items for my collections, but I definitely saw a few people with full carts and checking eBay prices. Dude, it's a thing. If that's how you make your living, then I guess whatever. Going to toy shows where you see someone that has a fucking table just full of Ollie shit and raw shit, or the stuff that's been sitting at Target on the shelves forever. You just want to go over and literally just laugh in their face and be like, you dumb fuck. I'm not always mean. That's not true. But it's just one of those things where it's like, all right, I don't have a problem. Hey, you're doing shows. You got to sell stuff. If you find something that is rare, which isn't, again, it's this day and age is so easy to find stuff, but you find something that's rare, then pick it up, even if you don't collect it. Sometimes you get burnt by it. Sometimes it works out great for you. But when this is what you're trying to do, I don't have a lot of respect for that. Although if you're watching right now, please hit the like button before you leave. Billy Boy's Toy jumping in here saying, Punk, hi, everyone. But yeah, it's just one of those crazy things. I don't know how I got on that. I was just happened to be at Ross. Happened to be at Ross because we went out to we had to go get ornaments for. I had to go get ornaments at Hallmark, and I actually met up with Jake Anderson so he could give me Naga Hyde's little monkey. I don't remember the name of it because I somehow lost it, and then I had to give him the rigged giveaway. Yes, he won. What can I say? What can I say that most of the people that won something from the giveaway know who I am because wow, they're on my thing. But yeah, it was just like again the idea of the community. Yabo, thank you very much. No, is Yabo? Yeah, I don't remember who the boar is. I don't know. Clint York says Hallmark tariff jacked up their prices. You know, they're so damn expensive, it doesn't even matter. Sean Forrester, my local Ross is always a miss. Such a shame. I could have used some of that stuff for customs. Tony, how many times have I told you while talking to you? You can tell this to Sean right now that I'm like, I wish we would have never even got Ross in our fucking area because every time I just walk through it and just get fucking pissed off about it. Look at this. Sergeant Rest says the code name on the shipper box is Pork Yabu or something like that. So it's Yabu. Thank you very much. Yes, Pumbaa. Timon and Pumbaa. Jake Anderson jumping in here saying, hey, Punk. But yeah, I've met so many good people again in every avenue that I have had a presence in. It's punk rock, skateboarding, and obviously now just this whole weird ass toy thing that we're doing. I made great friends throughout the years and memories that will last till hopefully till I die. Hopefully I don't lose those memories ahead of time. But being able to share this with everyone in the community here is awesome. And we're not the only ones that have such a good community. And again, when I look at the community that I feel like I'm part of here, it encompasses obviously the circle of jerks, Tony and Zen and them, what Darren and Crow do, Mr. Wonderful. Please tell Travis Mr. Wonderful I said something nice about him. He'll be really happy. All right, Ed, and like all these guys, like we've done so many, it's been great. And again, I said, hey, I need this Yabu. The monkey is what I saw. And right away, Jake Anderson was like, hey, I have one. I can meet you somewhere and exchange it. So yeah, it was a great topic. I had more to put down, and I'm like, well, I better transition this because it will completely shift from how good it is to how absolute shitty it can be with specific people. And before anyone says, well, you don't know what happened, let's just say it's not the first time we've heard about a lawsuit. All right. Stanley Everhart jumping in here saying, got this one in the background. Well, as you should. And look at this. Did someone say circle? Well, yes, we did. All right. So quickly, once again, 87 people watching. If you haven't yet, please hit this link once again. Head over to Toy Optics quickly. Don't leave this chat though. Hit subscribe. He is sitting at 896. Let's refresh this. We're going to push it tomorrow. The 896 right now. If you're not subscribed, head on over there. He had the first Rattler review. He has 23,000 views on that Rattler review. And you know what? None of them were bought and paid for. He did it the proper way. by getting his friend to give him his Rattler so he could do the review. And I am not criticizing him. Sometimes you do what you got to do. Son of a Crayon Slayer jumping in here. All right. So remember tomorrow, Circle of Jerks over on Baldy's channel. We will have Ken from Delta 17 and Toy Connections. Everyone say hi to Ken. I'm not sure if he's still here, but we want to make sure we always say hi to Ken. We know what happens if we don't say hi to Ken. All hell breaks loose. And I have to quickly say, make sure to check out all the sponsors, anyone that has helped out throughout here. Hella Dope Toys. I hope they are supposed to be doing a new soft launch next year. Their website is still up. They are not going anywhere. APWT, you get 10% off. All the Top Fun toy stuff you guys know about. Use the code PUNKWithToys, drop the A. You'll get 10% off. And I know a lot of people have been buying this stuff. He said that he got absolutely swamped. This was his best Black Friday and Cyber Monday. He said he's just finally getting caught up, sending out all of his stuff. So he makes some really good stuff at affordable prices. That's one of the biggest things when it comes to 3D printers, man, is a lot of these people are not, it's not that they're unaffordable, but to buy a whole bunch. And again, I understand because you're buying hell of quality with some of them. And some of them you don't know. But I've done a whole bunch of reviews. Hopefully it's enough to make people see it and realize, like, hey, this is actually pretty good. Stu for lunch made sure, and he said hi to Ken, which is what you have to do. And he said bye to Ken, and then see you tomorrow. Stu is getting it all, and as he should. James Lucas jumping in here. And then Stu for lunch says, happy Monday to you all. Made it for a minute of the show. Still counts as watching. It sure does. Derek Hoover jumping to say, evening punk, excellent shirt. Hello, Ken, wherever you are. I gotta love this. The whole Ken thing is awesome. But anyway, if you can also want to use the Amazon links, Entertainment Earth. I gotta say, like, the past couple years of having the Amazon affiliate link has been wonderful for the channel. In November and December, I've talked to Tripwire. Man, there have not been shit for deals on Amazon, and I mean in general. Like, it has just been, it has not been good, man. I try and find deals to push out, no matter what it is. And I don't really find anything right now. So it's unfortunate. I'd still love to push it out. But again, if you're ordering something from Amazon, click it and do what you need to do. It helps the channel grow. But let's get on and we'll get into the news with 1 second, but we got to do this.
Oh, hey guys. So Lawrence, he had to step away for a little bit. He's got a case of the grumble dust. So he asked me to kind of watch over a stream. He put me in charge of y'all. He said to me, oh, Moss Man, I have a case of the grumble dust, and I need you to watch myself for a little bit so nobody leaves and finds out that there's more interesting things to watch on YouTube. And also, I hate Ohio. So I was like, oh, dang, so now I have to come up with a topic for my very own show. And I was like, oh, what about talking about your favorite toy stores? So my favorite toy store is HelloDopeToys.com. So they used to have this really bad website. It used to look real scammy. Like if I gave them money, they were going to go spend it on like blow and hookers. But now their website is really nice. And like I can just go in and do like 1-2 click. And then my order's placed. And they ship super fast, guys. They ship everything in 1 business day. So like I get all my toys first. So when I'm out there on the playground and all my friends are like, oh, dang, Moss Man, where'd you get that action figure? I still have to wait 17 months for mine. And I'm just like, well, I went to HelloDopeToys.com and I just pushed the buttons and then they shipped it out to me. And the packaging is so nice, guys. Like, I opened up the box and I thought, oh, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this kind of packaging. It's so nice. But then my trash can gets full because of all the packing stuff. And I was just like, oh dang, I just changed the trash. But now I gotta change the trash again. Oh, you're right, Matthew Matson. You can use the code APWT at HelloDopeToys.com and save 10% on your order. So how that works is, so you're going to save 10%, and then a Punk with Toys, he has to pay that 10% that y'all saved. So if you don't like Lawrence, you can just go to HelloDopeToys.com and just buy a bunch of stuff and rack up his bill. So then, like, at the end of the month, they're like, Hello Dope Toys is like, oh, Lawrence, you owe us $1 million because of all the 10% codes that everybody used. And, yeah, that's how that works. Okay, guys, so it looks like it's time for me to go now. So make sure you go to HelloDopeToys.com and like and subscribe. And then in the comments, put what your favorite toy store is. But if it's not HelloDopeToys.com, I'm probably just going to delete it, okay? So, all right, guys, bye!
All right, quickly, I forgot to mention this. I think I mentioned it early on. This Thursday. Well, actually, I forgot to mention last week. If you didn't check it out, please go check out Maximum Warp. That was a awesome Thursday with a friend. Right up until he turned purple. We talked for like an hour after, and he was purple. So go check that one out. And this week, 1/5 of the Circle of Jerks we'll have Thursday with a jerk on Action Media Toys, aka Terry. I'm sure we'll probably talk about his Kickstarter that he is looking to launch. And I'm just going to leave it at that. He's mentioned a couple times of Circle of Jerks, so we will definitely I'm sure we'll definitely touch on that, but we'll go into everything with him. Again, hopefully Terry doesn't just bounce in the middle of the show. hopefully Terry doesn't just bounce in the middle of Thursday with a friend. Although that would be absolutely fucking epic if he does. But we're gonna get into toy news. Please, if you haven't, hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed. I know there's a lot of times you find the channel, you find a channel, and you realize you're not subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, please take this moment to hit subscribe. And let's get into the news. And we'll start off with a little bit of McFarlane news. I know everyone loves McFarlane. And there's a red Batman. It's a Super Friends. I believe evil red Batman. Baldy, it didn't even dawn on me that he might do that till I was just showing that. I'm like, what if he just fucking bounces? What if like we're in the middle of a conversation and he's just gone, and then I'm stuck there doing Thursday with a friend by myself? That would be awesome. The Beardy says, is he randomly going to dip in an hour and 12 minutes in? He might. Let's see. MCR jumping in and say, ahoy, everyone. Has Punk rigged any giveaways today? Not yet today. But, it's still early. Yeah. Meanwhile, in the Batcave. So, we have this... I don't remember this. It's not Jokerized, but it's red. So I used to watch the Super Friends. God knows it was a long time ago. God knows a lot has happened during the Super Friends. I can't remember everything. Was Batman ever red with evil eyes? Yeah, I'm not sure. But if you want a red Super Friends Batman, look, they don't even give you Batman in red, but he does have his Batarang, which looks like a giant comb more than a Batarang, in his walkie-talkie, I guess is what you could say. But yes. Okay, Derek Hoover says, okay, so this is the episode where Superman gets swapped with evil Superman. So I don't know if you're being serious because it sounds so stupid and preposterous that it could be true. Dustin Blair jumping in and saying, hey, Punk, hey Punk, on made to order, when do they collect your money? When it ships. So when it's ready to ship is when they will collect. So there is, if you have any inkling that you want it, back it up, like back it right now. It's not even backing it. Just go ahead and order one. You will not get shipped for. I haven't even looked to see when it's supposed to ship. But if you get down the road and you decide, hey, you know what, I don't really want this, or you know what, it's out of my price range, whatever, for whatever reason, you can just back away. You don't have to worry about it. But yeah, you don't have to worry about it till the end. Matthew says Thomas Wayne had red eyes, and guns. He meant guns, but not in Super Friends. And Dave's Dimension jumping in here saying, reminds me of the end of Batman Beyond episode where they ended with all the replicant versions of Batman. Yes, but I wonder, was there like an actual one in Super Friends? Okay, so Derek Hoover says, so he was in red, as was Robin, I think, and I think evil Batman is supposed to have a mustache. Again, I feel like you're making it up, but I don't think you are. Okay, so I'm 100% serious, and the catalyst for it happening is so fucking stupid, but I loved it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, it sounds so stupid and preposterous, but it's like it's right on par for. It's just right on par for what Uncle Todd would do. Here's the back of it. And then we have the Riddler. Now, I got to say here, I saw a comedian talking about the Riddler and said the Riddler should never be a man, because when was the last time a man knew something and didn't tell you? The Riddler should definitely be a woman. All right, so look, Mount Vesuvius made them switch. Okay. And MCR says Solomon Grundy wants pants too. I feel like we need to figure out how we can do watch-alongs. Like channel members do watch-alongs, and maybe go watch this episode. But if you are into this stuff, Toddy has got you covered. I gotta say, of all the Todd McFarlane stuff in DC that he's doing, if there was like one line I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna grab everything, it would be the Super Friends. Even though I don't remember everything about it, it does harken back to even being over like aunts and uncle's house, and Super Friends would be on obviously at your house and grandma and grandpa's house. It's always interesting. And again, these episodes are so bad. Like they are, like we were recently talking about Masters of the Universe. They're so hard to watch. I remember trying to get my kids to watch them, and both of them were like, this is really bad. And I wanted to say, sit your asses down, you're watching this, but I totally agreed. I totally agreed. I'm like, yeah, you know what? You guys can walk away. Unlike Clueless, where they were so happy to watch Clueless because it's such a good ass, funny ass movie. And if you don't like Clueless, you can just find yourself out. Don't leave. I need as many people as possible. But anyway, if you want this, hey, it's there for you. Enjoy your toys. Get what you want. Evil Batman here and the Riddler here, Super Friends. I totally do not remember this, though I might end up seeing, I could see the episode and be like, oh, and now I totally remember this. All right. So the next slides are the Unparalleled Universe from Wade. He recently had a Kickstarter. And now if I read it correctly, these are available for pre-order on BBTS, probably more than what you're going to pay from the Kickstarter, but you also don't have to put any money down. So I think it was last year, maybe the year before, Wade did a Kickstarter for, I can't think of his name. I want to say Odorous. It's not Odorous, because Odorous Urungus, who I actually thought the guy that won, that was his name. I thought it was named after it until I was looking at his name, and I'm like, nope. um, Ed, what is this guy's name? Odious. That's it. Odious, not odorous. I want to say odorous for again Guar, but it's odious. See, I was so fucking close. Um, so he did a Vietnam one, and he also did a cowboy one. I am blown away that Ed did not get the cowboy one. Um, I'm also kind of surprised he didn't get the Vietnam one because that era, even though he wasn't in Vietnam, Ed is not that old. He likes that Vietnam era because when he served, they were still wearing a lot of fatigues that were close to that. But I gotta say, I was looking at these pictures here, and the cowboy one is really fucking badass. It is really really badass. Uh, Debo said, "I thought you were saying odorous." I was saying odorous, but I knew that's not what his name was. It's odious. But you cannot again, like when you like, what the hell's his name? Again, odorous. You think of Odorous Urungus of Guar, who I say passed away way too early, but drugs will kill you. Don't do them. They're bad for you. But I gotta say, the cowboy one, normally I would think that normally I would be more into the Vietnam military, but I gotta say, with all the background here, this really I like this one more. This one just kind of, but if I decide, and I haven't gotten one. I know Ed absolutely loves it. Where is he? He says, I love both versions, especially the cowboy. I pre-ordered him on BBTS, which I think might be the way to go. Again, probably a little bit more expensive, but you don't have to put the money down right away. Where I guess if you were going to get them right away, you probably would. So, Cooking with Eric says, I've done all the drugs. So did Odorous. That is why Dave Brocky is no longer with us. War Chest Full of Toys says, those are really cool. The cowboy for sure is not for me, but I'm going to pick up to support the man. I'll probably end up picking up one. But I just think the cowboy looks awesome. And normally I'd be like, give me the military, but there's something really cool about this Bigfoot wearing a cowboy hat. It just works. It really does work. So, but again, everything is selling it with the tables or the bar and everything. Although I just ripped out my bar, you should give me an ODS with a sledgehammer smashing out the bar. That would have sold me on it right there. Here's the Vietnam era one. And again, these are just regular plain fatigues. And the background, again, as cool it is to do pictures like that, trees and stuff don't really sell it for me. But it does look pretty cool. Ed says, I think it's like $4 more on BBTS than the Kickstarter, but it'll make the difference up in shipping. Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Yeah, and Alex said they got these two on pre-order at BBTS. Yep. So they probably bought up a huge chunk of it because he was like was it $10,000 or $2,000 behind from it funding with 2 hours to go, something like that. I didn't see what the final numbers were, but we know that like BBTS has funded and basically kicked off and allowed a lot of things to fund by buying so many of them. So I guess it works out for them in the end, right? All right, on to some Star Wars. Mandalorian. I needed stuff to talk about. I mean, I really needed stuff to talk about. They did their Brazilian tour. I don't understand. I was really odd with the whole Brazilian thing. Why they did that there, other than trying to sell more toys there. I feel like they're trying to like ship shit to Brazil, and then maybe they can get it cheaper through the tariffs if they come through there. I don't know. But if you don't have enough Mandalorians, which I actually bought another Mandalorian, uh, uh, Johnny, you'd be really proud. I found one at Ross for like $7 or $8. I forget. I don't know which one it is. His helmet doesn't really stay on. I bought him in, my ET there. But there's something really cool about the Mandalorians, and when you find them on clearance, I can't say I gotta buy them all like Johnny, because I did walk away from a couple 1/18th ones, but this one does look pretty cool. It does look pretty cool, and again, I won't be buying this, but hey, if you need this and you need a Din Djarin, then we'll pick it up. Hell, I mean, they drop another Snake Eyes, I'm gonna get it. So there are a lot of people, and I know there's so many people that say, "Hey, you know what? We didn't need another one of these." Well, you got one, and it's got soft goods cape or whatever that thing is. So enjoy your toys, man. Like, if this is what makes you happy, then make sure you pick it up. It is funny they only give him one hand though, one extra hand. Here's your gun, and here's this little knife. Which I think is the same stuff that came with the one that I had. Oh no, actually, I have the one with the dark saber. Stanley says, I want a Slave 1 Black Series Haslab, 1 mold, 3-point job, paint options, Django, Boba, OT, and Boba Mando era. Well, I can't imagine them doing multiple. You know what? They did do multiple versions of. They did multiple versions of Ghostbusters, and Star Wars would do better. There's no way they would call it Slave 1 because I don't know what they're scared of. I know exactly what they're scared of because they're stupid. I think that would actually do very well. I think that is something that in the Black Series scale, it's small enough that you can fit on a shelf. It'd still be pretty large, but you can still fit it on a shelf. It wouldn't take up too much space, and it is something that you're going to hit with, again, original collectors, newer collectors, and everything. So I think that would be awesome. Williams says, glad he doesn't come with Grogu. Well, you can't be mad if you get something extra, all right? Or at least you shouldn't be. At least they'd be giving you something. Tripwire said, pew pew stab. We need many Banthas in Star Wars Black Series. That last one that they did was not in Black Series, right? The one that had like all the that had the actual fur and everything on it or whatever. Like, yeah. Again, and the funny thing about this is, like, it's not even a bad word. Like, again, it's not. And again, this is a Disney thing. Again, they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. It was called the Slave 1. He was going in, enslaving people. It's not some racist negative thing. It's just the name of it. MCR, I thought it was I thought it was 1/18 scale, but I just couldn't remember. I do think that they're scared to do anything big in the Black Series because they've failed on two things that they've done. But I think a Slave 1 or Fire Spray is what it's called now. Which, in all honesty, Fire Spray is actually a badass name. If you just took away the name. Well, according to some people, it was never called Slave Leia. but I'm with you because I'll only call her Slave Leia. And when someone tells me that she was never called Slave Leia, I'm gonna call her Slave Leia again. But anyway, if you need this, if you want this, you can get it eventually. I think it went up for pre-order already. See, there's the Mandalorian. There's a back one. All right, Marvel Legends. I told you I don't have much. Killer Croc. Killer Croc? Oh, Killer Croc is what the hell's his name? The Lizard. Killer Croc is Batman. Before anyone yells at me. Yeah, Slave Leia, like I said. Anyway, Dr. Connor's here. Now I heard somebody say, because again, Dwight said that this was given away in the this was part of a Build-A-Figure a few years ago, and I heard someone say, well, what's the use of Slayer? Now that we know that we're going to get the Build-A-Figures eventually, there's no reason to build the figure. But the truth is, like, why? Like, who the hell is going to wait, right? If you want a character, I'm not going to sit there and wait for it. And if somebody tells me, if they say, hey, you know what? We're going to put out the Age of Apocalypse Colossus, that was part of the Build-A-Wave, and someone's like, oh, well, why did I buy all those Age of Apocalypse figures? I don't know, because it was like 3 or 4 years ago. I didn't really want to wait. I have no problem with it. So, no issues at all. And again, if you did another Age of Apocalypse Colossus that you updated some of the stuff, I'd probably buy that one too. So I think some people kind of, saying there's no reason to do that, or to buy the Build-A-Wave. Well, I mean, that's your choice. There's certain things that for me, it's not worth it. Now, if you're going to get almost all the figures and you only need like one arm, you can go on eBay and try and find it, or just buy the figure and, sell the figure. But to me, this does look like it probably is just a repaint, but they do give you an extra head. All right. But this thing is actually pretty cool. I mean, it's got articulated toes, which it should. Hopefully he stands, unlike the original Savage Crucibles. Hi, it's me jumping in here. So maybe just do the Build-A-Figure for fun. Yeah, I mean, or you can turn around and sell it, or again, it's just one of those things, man. Again, if you want to gamble it and see if they're going to do it, then so be it. But I gotta say, this thing does look pretty cool. They gave you some really good head sculpts. 3-star draw saying this is the lizard from Jurassic Park. Clever girl. It does kind of look like the what are they called? Raptors. That's it. But again, if you need a lizard and you didn't get this in the Build-A-Wave and you want to grab this, awesome. Okay, Matthew, once again, I didn't have any issue standing the Series 1 Savage Crucibles, but everyone else did, Matthew, or else they wouldn't have changed it. Just remember that. Everyone else did, or they wouldn't have changed it. So, there you go. That's the extra head. It does look good. I'm not a fan of pin joints. Not that I hate pin joints, but we're at a point that we don't need them anymore. The technology is there. So I wish they'd just drop them. All right. So you go. Marvel's Lizard, if you want it. It's a Spider-Man there. It's not a Spider-Man, guys, so you guys don't have to lose your shit about it being Spider-Man. Ronnie says, I do love when people yell at Matthew. You should see us in our mods chat. Cal Shay says Budo scabbards are correct for a lefty. I agree 100%. Matthew says not everyone, just 10 to 20% or so. It was enough to change it. Again, you could stand them, you couldn't stand them on the toes. Being able to stand them but use the actual toe articulation wasn't gonna work. And you know how I know? Because I watched it fall over. All right. I know what you're all saying. We need another Spider-Man. They haven't shown off any Spider-Mans this year. Will they? Oh my gosh, they gave us one. Yeah, so this is one of the ones from the movies. I don't remember which one. The upper part doesn't look awful. But this one makes it really look like it is the Spider-Man 77, which I understand. I did buy the Spider-Man 77. It is hard to, again, if you need a Spider-Man, just go buy the Maximum Spider-Man. It's going to be hard for any collector, in my opinion, unless if you are just buying every Spider-Man because you love Spider-Man. To want to pick up another Spider-Man once you get Maximum. This one looks like the articulation is so bad. Every Spider-Man should have toe articulation. I know I've discussed this before. I'm not huge on toe articulation, but when it comes to Spider-Man, he definitely needs it. This here looks like someone cosplaying Spider-Man jumping around. The figure doesn't look bad, but it is so, again, the upper part I'm kind of okay with. It looks like it has butterfly joints. It looks like it has butterfly joints. How well they work, I don't know. It doesn't have the ab crunch, but it does have the. I guess it has the lower ab crunch, and then it has the diaphragm crunch. I just can't. There's just something that makes it look like, wow, this looks like it's run off old, like it's built off old technology. And this Spider-Man has no ass. Debo says that last pose is like circle jerk Spider-Man. Yeah, it kind of does look like Skank Man. And you can't even say Spider-Man like as a joke, but his name is Spider-Man. But again, if you like this one, awesome. If you don't think Maximum Spider-Man is worth it, it totally is. Even ask this guy right here. You have rubber band technology. Ask Tony. He wasn't going to buy Maximum Spider-Man, and I believe he did, and he says it's awesome. So you get 2 threat hands. I will reiterate, every Spider-Man should come with not only threat hands, but also should come with webs and different stuff like that because they've already created it. Maximum Spider-Man started off at $50. I think he's $60 now with the tariffs and everything. He is so worth it. He's just worth it. He's that good of a figure. So here's your Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this figure. But again, I don't have to buy it. So that's actually pretty cool. I'll take my own advice and just not buy it. Red She-Hulk. I know nothing about Red She-Hulk. I didn't even know that there's a Red She-Hulk. And I definitely didn't know that Red She-Hulk used size. So, Dwight said She's a very large figure. It looks like she is, I would assume, some new tooling, but I don't have any She-Hulk, so I don't know. What is the purpose of her having size? Somebody has got to be collecting the comics or read the comics. Why does she have size? And it looks like they actually gave her psi hands. So this is what I was thinking, that it probably is Elektra Psi. Tony says Max Spider-Man is 64 on Amazon. Look on BBTS first, or Entertainment Earth. And Into Mystery says to guard against swords. Okay, thank you. It sure seems like it, but I don't know if it is. They just said it's Red She-Hulk, but I know nothing about it. Alex Martinez, that is what I will tell you. It does look cool. And angry. But I'm just wondering what it is. I'm just wondering what it is. So 3-star says, I'm with you. I don't know if there was a Red She-Hulk, nor do I care. This is near the bottom of the thing I need pile. I think it looks good. But it's nothing that I need. This is one of those things where, in my opinion, works with Operation Monster Force probably better than my Marvel collection. Matthew says Red She-Hulk is Betty Ross. Why does she have size, though? Okay, so in the comics, she fought Elektra. That doesn't seem like a fair fight. 3-star says looks pretty good. She's kind of hot. All right, and you can just leave it at that. You don't have to talk about her ass and everything. I think it does look good. And again, if it's a fun figure, something that people enjoy, then awesome. Dwight did say she's kind of a big figure, so she takes up a lot of space in there. So. Break something jumping in here saying, damn, She-Hulk makes me want to work out. I believe she defeats Elektra. Actually, yeah, defeats Elektra and Domino, takes Domino's clothes and Elektra's size. And that is exactly what I needed, an answer. So thank you, Brick. And all you other are fucking useless. Not one of you guys could have told me that. Brick comes in, first comment. He tells me all these awesome things that explains this figure. I need more viewers like Brick. I'm just saying. According to Google, she stole them from Elektra. Cal Shave, you can stay. Oh God, you guys make me laugh. Did you tell me? Where'd you? Yeah, but you didn't give a full description, or at least I didn't notice. I didn't call you a nerd. I just said you had what I needed. And Matthew says Betty Ross is Thunderbolt Ross's daughter. The love. I know who Betty Ross is. I know who Betty Ross is. If you're trying to tell me that, I'm just trying to figure out why she's red, or like why she has size. But now I know. All right. Cooter's Garage says, if I remember, Red She-Hulk is. All right. And TC511 would put with Darth Maul if I had a Darth Maul. Dude, you kind of nailed it. Like, that is totally the red and blacks that he has. Man, I think, yeah, that pretty much works. Okay, well, and that's why I said if you were telling me that. She's read Batman's X. Now we have it. Ebcon says, Betty Ross sold the American flag, I think. Okay, you made me laugh. So, all right. So there she is. Again, I don't know. She's supposed to be a big figure. We know the size of these boxes. So in other words, she's definitely taller than mainframe. That should make all of you very happy. And now we get to some G.I. Joe, a real American hero. But before we do, we're going to take a quick little break because somebody's been drinking a whole bunch of pop.
And now back to Cobra News Now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have received word that our field correspondent, Scrap Iron, is on scene at Mars Industries, and he has interviewed a few eyewitnesses and forwarded those statements over to us as he tries to get closer for a better vantage point on the fire. So let's take a listen to these eyewitness statements and see if we can discover what has happened here tonight.
All right, so I'm out here just ripping this mini ramp that's made by Mars Industries. Don't ask, I don't understand why they sponsored it. But anyway, I hear this huge explosion, and I hear all these people yelling and screaming that this thing's on fire, and they tell me to call 911, so I call 911. We got the ESU police here, and we got the firefighters, and wait a minute, don't you work for Mars Industry and the Iron Grenadiers too?
Oh yeah, that's a wicked fire, eh? Good bonfire for burning the moose on. Kind of reminds me, it reminds me of the one that we did at Justin Bieber every year at the Stratford Festival. Just as much smoke, big flame. We do that to keep Sasquatch away. What'd you do yours for, eh?
Yeah, how you doing? I was walking down the street, hanging out, minding my own business. About to sit down on the park bench here and just enjoy my meal here. I got a nice little delicious lunch made by my wife, my lovely wife. She's a great cook. Sometimes not the best, but listen, we all suffice, right? And I'm sitting here on the bench about to open up my lunch box after a long day of working with construction workers. If you haven't noticed, I got this hard hat on, right? And I'm sitting here chilling, and next thing you know, I smell burning. And I go, what is that? And then the explosion, the loud, boom! I'm like, oh, what the hell was that? What's going on? You sound like Aaron Judge cracked a home run. I'm freaking out. I look up, and Mars Industries is on fire. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is this? The building just blew up. It's on fire now. And no one can have any answers. Nobody has any answers. Next thing you know, the fire shows up. The cops show up. Nobody knows what's going on. But damn things for sure, that building blew up. Now listen, I ain't no conspiracy theorist, but I'll tell you this. The owner of that building, he wears a metal helmet. Who's wearing a metal helmet? Just to do business. Something don't smell right. You understand what I'm saying? That building, that was an inside job. You can quote me on that. Thank you for having me on the news. I've never been on the news before. This is fantastic. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And before we go, I want to shout out some people. My man Shane, my man Woody, my man Mike. I appreciate you all. Take it easy, guys. I appreciate you. I'm on the freaking news right now. This is fantastic.
Well, that was certainly something. So let's see if we can check back in with Scrap Iron and see if he's been able to locate Destro or the Baroness and find out the cause of this fire. Over to you, Scrap Iron. Scrap Iron. Scrap, are you there? Looks like we might be having some technical difficulties, and oh my God. Oh, I'm going to have to go over there now.
All right. That was something. Anyway. All right. A little bit of G.I. Joe news. And first we'll start talking about Haya. And they basically are giving us the Master of Disguise Zartan. So many of you weren't able to get this. This was the color changing Zartan. They give him everything that comes with that, all the masks. I do not believe that he changes colors, as they did not show it. Also, if you don't have it, don't worry. The color changing Zartan probably isn't the greatest Zartan in the world anyway. Although he does change color. Like, he does turn blue, that is for sure. William C. that says that was awesomely something. Well, you know what? You can thank 3-star draw Darren for that. That was all part of, the Punkathon, and had to do with his Tuchel Viper. So anyway, this is high. These are 4.1. And if you know any, again, if you know this, you know all the different heads. I gotta say this: I do think that this look here with Storm Shadow's head, along with the bow and arrow, looks absolutely awesome, for sure on this. Uh, I like this a lot. Isn't high a mainframe scale? First off, there's nothing wrong. I saw what you said about mainframe sucking. Yeah, no. Mainframe's a damn good figure, and not everyone's super tall. Hate to break the news to everyone. So, but if you want to fix them, go ahead and fix them. You can. So these are all the different masks that he has. I gotta say, they help out this figure. That is like Hyatt does awful faces for their regular characters. I actually thought Gung Ho was actually looked pretty good, to be honest. And then here's this. Now that sniper rifle is probably classified scale because all their weapons are classified scale. I know we were talking about it, I believe, on Punk's Pit with Woody, and he was talking about it. But again, this is Master of Disguise Zartan, and I'm sorry, but that face, like, I don't know why they can't get their face sculpts right. The mask figures I think look really good, but man, do they're just, oh my god, it's awesome. I mean, awful, not awesome, awful. See, I'm gonna disagree, but hey, that's, again, we can all have our disagreements. I have no problem with how he looks. So, but hey, you know what? Again, I have no problem. So, but yeah, this thing is just everything right to the face, and I don't care what angle they show it from. It's just bad. Like, look at that. Like, I might have nightmares. I should not have looked at it this. Should not have looked at it this late at night. I should have started off the show with this so I could get it out of my mind. But a bunch of arrows they give you, an actual quiver. They give you the actual backpack, his gun. Again, everything looks really good other than the figure. And I gotta say, I don't understand their 4.1 scale. Modern 4-inch, are 4-inch figures. You can still fit them, in my opinion, with the O-rings. 4.1, you really start stretching it. And they look pretty good, except for their face sculpts. That's the only thing that I cannot stand. Brick something says, "Damn it! Between Red She-Hulk and Zartan, I'm feeling like I need to do some crunches." Remember, was it 6-minute abs? What about when someone comes out with 5-minute abs? If you haven't seen Something About Mary, do yourself a favor and go see Something About Mary. It is awesome. It really is that good of a movie. But you can see everything. And again, if you want to get this figure, go for it. I'm not a huge fan of the highest stuff. I think some of them looks pretty good. We've discussed this numerous times. But it's there. Highest Me says, I got Mainframe a magazine from Bad Mother Tattoos and Customs. So he's happier now. Okay. Abs are made in the kitchen. Yes and no. If you have genetics, it doesn't matter. For the most part, I would agree with you. But if you have genetics, it doesn't matter. All right, quickly, 84 people watching. I'm going to drop this another time. Head over to Toy Optics if you're not. He's trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. He is 103 away. I'm sure most of you probably already subscribed to him, so make sure you hit that. And also, if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you do it. Sometimes we kind of think we're subscribed and we realize we're not. All right. So, G.I. Joe, Hasbro was down in Brazil for their expo. They had the Marvel brand, Star Wars brand, Transformers, and obviously G.I. Joe. I have no idea what Transformers was showing off. I don't talk about Transformers. We talked about the Star Wars stuff. We talked about the Marvel stuff. And then there's some G.I. Joe stuff. So they dropped this teaser here. Now, I, along with everyone, said, yep, there's your polar battle bear. Everything is polar. And then, you thought about it a little bit. This is for the chameleon, the swamp skier. So this is for Zartan swamp skier. Someone said it'll probably come with Zanya. That kind of makes sense. I just recently bought this 3D printed from Mark to Toys. And before anyone says, well, how do you know this? Because the direction of the arm on the ski is in the opposite direction that the snowmobile would be in. But the back of the swamp skier is hanging off the back. Yes, TC is the art. It's the Arctic chameleon. I don't know why that made me laugh. But yeah, so more than likely, and if you look at how it's designed, yeah, this looks to be the chameleon, which, yes, it's the back ski. And the other thing that I feel like they kind of tricked you is that normally they show things going from right to left. This is actually going left to right. So no, because it's backwards. So what you have to look at is where the kick, I guess a nose kick on this would be, and the tail kick. It's bigger in the front there. You wouldn't have it lower. So this is a dragging motion here. This one is dragging it along. That's the reason why it's a chameleon. So I said polar bear right away. I did see that. I really wasn't taking into consideration, but yeah, I think what we're looking at is a swamp skier. I hope that it doesn't come with anyone. Hopefully this is finally like a small vehicle that they don't number or anything, because people are going to want this for all the dreadnoughts, and no one's going to want 6 Zanyas if that's what it comes with. Yeah, again, it's backwards. It's backwards. All right. And why would they do a Cobra Wolf if they just did an Arctic Hiss? But yeah, again, if you look at it, it looks to be the chameleon. So yes, there was the swamp bike, the swamp skier is what it's called. But again, just looking at the way that it would be dragging, it is a dragging motion. It's not a pushing motion, which is what the snow wolf or the wolf or whatever would be, or the polar battle bear. But again, and then they did a name only of Deep Six. Now, I cannot believe that they would do this version of Deep Six. 2 points of articulation. It would have to be something different. Whether or not he fits into the suit, maybe. He has to have some articulation. Then my guess is, does this mean that we're going to get a shark? If we do get a shark, I don't want it one where he lays down. We don't really need a 2-seater, but it needs to be one where they actually sit up, which makes more sense anyway. Gun Bunny says, hopefully it comes with Swamp Trooper or some kind of builder. I don't want 15 Zanyas. You know what? Yeah, I didn't think about this. Zanya with the Swamp Skier is the conventional wisdom. Should be Sonic Fighter Road Pig or Punk Rock Zartan. They did announce that Ninja Zartan, so would they be willing to do that? I just don't think that it's stupid. You know, I like a clamshell or removable armor like Budo. I don't know. Like I don't know how you do that with this figure. Again, this guy is essentially a snake armor, and you're not going to put him in a big snake suit. But that would actually be pretty cool. Shellback says Swamp Viper. So something like that would have to be where you're saying, hey, we're going to give you the Swamp Skier, but we're also going to give you this new Viper that's a Swamp Viper. You can do what you want with it. That could be the way to go if they're going to keep doing figures with everyone. Same time, Toys jumping in and saying, okay, I'm awake. What did I miss? Not much. I've never cared for Deep Six. He's the worst G.I. Joe figure that's ever been made in the Real American Hero line. No one ever cared to use, his little penis pump to pump him up back up to the air. Even when he laid down in the shark, he just jiggled around in it. Yeah, and you're right. It may not be V1, or it may just be, it may be a version that they make, right? Where he kind of looks like it. But the other thing we always have to remember is almost every figure that they're going to do, they want to have some reuse. I don't know. To me, it makes sense to have him with the shark only because it's a small vehicle and they can do it. I don't really want a shark, but okay. Ronnie Trickshot says Lawrence wants a penis pump. Anyway, so that's what was announced, and then they showed off what we'd all been waiting for. Now, am I the only one that was like, why the hell did you decide to show off the Arcticus in Brazil? I don't know how much snow Brazil gets, but they showed off the Arcticus along with the Arcticus driver, who all it is a snow serpent with the weapons in the head of the Hiss driver painted white. I have no problem with this. I'm one of the few people I feel like that actually likes the snow serpent buck. There's a lot of people that don't seem to like it. I don't know why. I actually really like this, to be honest. And the Arctic Hiss, which I feel bad for I don't know, the Hiss serpent is, I guess, what you would call him, if he's going to be up there when they're launching the missiles. Although you do see some shots where they have the missiles taken off, so that's one of the good things. But it's one of those things where, yeah, it's I think this looks good. It is a very interesting color, and they've had this design, and they really did try to remake it. They gave you the basket on the side, and they also give you the bedroll. Now, it would be nice if the bedroll actually rolled out, if they actually put soft goods on it for $200. From my understanding, this would have been $175 last year, but due to the tariffs and everything, it went up in price. Where have you been, Eric? It's $200. Kuda's Garage says, so far, Classified has done good taking turds from the vintage and making them better. I agree, but I don't think this is a turd. I really do like this. There's no doubt about it. Gun Bunny says it needs a different layer. It needs a different overlay. That parachute on the Hiss driver looks goofy. Hold on. I didn't even dawn on me. I'm just so used to seeing it on there. But yeah, I see what you're saying. It's gonna be one of those ones where you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle to get that seatbelt on. You are gonna struggle to get that. You're gonna struggle to get that on. 3-star says they totally blew the chance to reveal the special mission Brazil, even if they didn't come out for 2 years. Oh yeah, that would have gone over really well if they waited 2 fucking years to release something. But if they plan on going back next year, they can do it. Just remember that. But I like the way this looks. I have my opinions on them redoing this, doing the mold, and we'll talk about that when we get to the topic here. But all in all, I think this looks really good. $200 it's pretty pricey, but we've seen other things in that range that you probably get less. I can say by having the the Haslab Hiss, if I took everything away that I know this doesn't have and show you have what it has on there, it's still a better deal than the Mezco Rumbler, and I bought that. So I don't really have a problem. I mean, when someone says, "Oh, I would have rather spent $175," yeah, we'd all like to spend less money. But I think they did a good job of how it looks. Like I said, I do like the Hiss Serpent. I just call him the Hiss Serpent now. I really like the Hiss driver head, and I like the Snow Serpent buck. Though I think the overlay, I'm kind of with you. If they would have done something a little bit different, Gun Bunny, that would have been something to just kind of break it up. But this is going to be fun. This is going to be something. If people are willing to go out in the snow with this and the Snowcat, because the one thing about going out in the snow, especially with the Snowcat, when it has electronics, it's not only setting it up there and posing everything, but it's also being out in the cold, getting your camera out, setting everything up. There's a lot to it. So, but I think people are going to do stuff like that for sure. Tripwire says it is $175, $25 for the figure. Yeah, but again, these molds are already done. It is a complete repaint for the most part, other than the bedroll, the machine guns which were redone, and the rack. Again, I like it to be less. I think we all would. He says, I hate the Snow Serpent hands. A lot of people said that. They don't bother me, but I know what you're talking about. But it doesn't bother me at all. But I do know what they are smaller hands. I will admit to that. I'll agree with you on that. Hindu Mystery says the blue thing on the Snow Serpent is a parachute. Why is the damn driver wearing a parachute? This is just some lazy jank. Because the original Snow Serpent had a parachute on him. So that's what they put on there. That's the reason why. And they just repainted it. So that's how they're doing it. Hi, it's me. Says I'm going to put the full collar and the silver head on the Mindbender body and call it Arctic Destro. Okay. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of things that they can do, and they're gonna do other figures like this for sure. Um, but again, you're seeing that everything other than the lights are going to be available. If you do have the Haslab Hiss, you can probably use the rockets on the side. I believe it was um, War Chest who made the comment about, does anyone actually have those? I normally have them on there. I took them off just because I was running out of space, and even that little bit of space allowed to have a figure on both sides. But I really don't have a problem, although they do look like little Nerf bullets. The snow serpent thinks he's hiding behind a big tree. He is not. The odorist says mainframe and Zorana will make good use of that bedroll. Yes, a lot of half-naked dudes up in the Arctic in G.I. Joe go for it. Okay, Gun Buddy said it's not a bedroll. It's either an anti-radar net or cover for the aerial concealment. Because I'm really hoping they don't roll it out while sleeping together. You are correct. It's basically the same thing that Gridiron gave for the vamp that you can throw over. And you served in the Marines, so yeah, you do know. I guess it's just easier to say bedroll, and it's not really a bedroll. It is an Arctic cover. But again, like, they easily could have used the one that they're using for the Snowcat, right? Like, they easily could have done that. So again, not really. They could have given you something they could have wrapped up and then thrown it over. But hey, that's just me. But I like the way this looks. I really do like the vectors that they come with. The fact that they haven't done this again, they haven't put that gun out, they haven't put a Hiss driver out yet, is shocking. This was supposed to be a Crimson Hiss. I heard this a long time ago. It was confirmed by two different people. So I had two different people tell me that this was supposed to be a Crimson Hiss, and I believe, if I'm correct, I believe Chris McLeod also hinted that there was supposed to be a Crimson Hiss. So I heard from three different people that this was originally supposed to be a Crimson Hiss. I think this was a better idea to shift gears. So now you do have Cobra able to fight, G.I. Joe's snow vehicles. Don't say fanny pack in the UK. It means something different. All right. TC says a snowboard or set of skis would have been gear. Great. They should have used the snowboards. Like, they already have them. They should have found a way to mount the snowboards onto the side. Because the only way you get the snowboard is if you have the deluxe version. Guess what Sticky Tack's going to be doing? Thank you for that. I just have to remember that I have a snowboard, and the Sticky Tack's going to tack it right to it. The Saber missiles. All right, I'm going to say it before anyone else does. I hope that they fixed the post for this. And all you have to do is make a little bit longer of a post so the rockets don't fall off every time you touch it. Modulok 84 says Chris McLeod was 110% sure Special Brazil pack was getting announced. Well, hold on one second here.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
So, yeah, I can say this. I haven't watched the full force recently. And nothing against Chris because I had Chris on, and he's actually such a nice guy. I was really disappointed that he didn't go to assembly required this year. He he's not always right, but he is fed information that he's fed information that the rest of us don't have. And he's not allowed to report on certain things unless if it is reported. But he also, you know, he hinted at the Zanya a long time ago. He knew that the Major Blood was supposed to be the Major Blood was supposed to be the last of the Walmart exclusive retro figures. So I didn't hear him say that. I don't doubt you that he said it. It was a miss if they knew they were going there, but maybe this is something they said, you know what? I'd have to think of are all the Brazilian special mission figure like classified versions out? So I mean that would be something, yeah, that they definitely could do. But yeah. 44D2 jumping in here saying they're not fixing anything. Oh, I don't think they are. But I can hope until it comes out. 44D2, do not ruin my hope before it even gets here. Modulax says, I think he's fed a lot of red herring, not trying to bash the fella, but no, he's not. No. Again, I talked to Lenny, and they hold him in some very high regards because he was one of the people that settled Lenny down when they first dropped the classified. So they are like truly friends with him. That's the reason why he does get some of that stuff. There's also a reason why, and again, I said this before I ever met him, so it has nothing to do with friendship. If I thought he was, you know, feeding us a bunch of bullshit like some of the other YouTubers, I would flat out say it. If you listen to certain things that he said, now he doesn't know everything, but you can usually tell if he knows that something is coming or not. But they switch a lot of things on the fly, and I think that I'll say this: when they do switch something on the fly, it's not like they contact him, you know, and be like, "Hey, by the way, we switched everything." I don't think like as they're designing stuff, they're letting him know. But yeah, there is, you know, again, there's some specific things, but again, it's like anyone, you know, it's just news information. I think the funniest thing is with these news channels, these people that need to run out. I watched it with sports for quite some time. People want to be, and this, I'm not saying this about Chris McLeod because he actually sits on to a lot of stuff. I'm talking about some of the other news channels, you know, guys living on islands with sharks swimming around them. They're so quick to get out any information that they don't even bother to check sources and find out if they're right. So it's the Optimus moped right around the corner. I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna grab my my G.I. Joe Bellomo book here of all the original figures, and I'm just gonna do a video. I'm gonna open up, and I'm gonna start reading every single name and saying, "Hey, like this figure is coming," and I'm gonna read every single one of them. And then every time a figure is announced, I'm gonna jump on and say, "I reported this." But yeah, so Modulax says not to go down the rabbit hole, but Steve Evans leaked Star Wars releases lists a year in advance to his pets, but he's fed red herring from time. Again, I mean, I do understand what you're saying, but like I said, I know there's a lot of things get changed. But yeah, no, I had this idea a long time ago. I've mentioned this numerous times, Shane. You can have it, but hey, I mentioned it a long time ago. So don't try and say you had that idea before me. I've been saying it for quite some time. uh, I saw a post about VI video, and everyone said, "Why are you watching him?" Because he's comical as hell. That's why. Anyway, so here's the driver. Again, as you can see, now the parachute here, the parachute here, there is a specific reason for that. And I know we've seen stuff like that in the past. And I'm talking like in the 80s, we would see like people in the Arctic have this. I don't understand what it is. I don't think it's a full on parachute. But I don't fully understand what it is. No modular. Hey, I like having conversations, so I have absolutely no problem having a conversation about it. Again, unlike some people in the world and on channels, you can have a different a difference of opinion, and not hate each other. It's crazy. It's crazy how that is. It's for wind skiing. Oh, he does have the snowboard, and he lets it go, and then I can just take him. Are his tanks parachuting in? Ice sailing parachute. You guys are so stupid. They once again shooting the galaxy. He nailed all the pictures. But yeah. Also, I'd like to say here, with that much gear, you're not fitting two people in the back of that hiss. Not happening. All right. There is not much room in behind there. I'll just say that. But yeah, I like what they're doing. I like the look of it. I think the white is good. It took out the lights, so you're not getting another black one. That was only for the Haslab. So, all right, that's the hiss, the Arctic hiss. So now it's time to talk a little bit about Haslab or made to order. That's what everyone's wondering now, right? What would you rather have? What do you think is better? Is the Haslab done? Now, I want to start by saying that a couple weeks ago, when we talked about this in Circle of Jerks, Baldy sent us a comment that was left on the video the next day with some guy that said, "Thank you guys for backing this for me." And trying to say that it's going to be $200 is ridiculous. You're just trying to keep your value up on your Haslab investment. This is going to be 100, 150, probably 125, something like that, if they want to sell them. First off, thank you for thinking that we wield that much power to Hasbro that we could say that this needs to be at least $200. So it can help our investment of the Haslab Hiss keep its value. I'm glad that you think that we wield this much power. All 87 people watching here, this is the power that I have wielded to Hasbro. 85 now. I guess two people don't think I wield that power. But again, with the power of the circle jerks, we are able to conjure up and have 120 or 130 people. All I have to say is, I bet you're not even going to buy one. This guy was so swarmy. And again, I actually spoke out to our group and said, hey, we can't insult people all the time on Facebook groups. I've had to cut back on it because you're trying to grow your brand. Our brand is growing. We can't be swarmy to every single person on Facebook. But dot dot dot. When someone comes into your chat and making comments and they want to be a complete dick or swarmy, oh, the gloves are off. You can say whatever the hell you want. So to that guy, I'm glad that we were right. I'm glad that the molds that we invested in, you probably still won't buy a better color, as you said. I think it's just funny to watch people be as juvenile as they are. Now, let's be honest, we're all a bunch of guys collecting toys, which makes us probably as juvenile as fucking can be. But again, if you're going to say something swarmy in public that everyone can read, oh, you better expect some sort of a shitty ass comment back. I will agree with this. You're the only one that doesn't. And the craziest thing is, other than you, I'm probably the second nicest one. And that's not like a pat on the back. It's just showing you some of the shitty comments that the other three guys threw out there on Facebook. But even Terry agreed, like, hey, you know what? I'm doing a Kickstarter. I probably shouldn't be doing this. I agree. Again, it's not about being juvenile. Again, you can't go on if you go on social media and you attack people every time they ask a dumb question. And God knows there's a lot of dumb questions in the G.I. Joe community. A lot of dumb questions. It's going to come back to bite you when you're growing your brand. And a lot of people don't care about that. They're like, oh, I don't really care. Well, wait till you start getting 100 people watching your show. You might change your mind and be like, hey, you know what? I kind of like this whole thing. Those are words that no one has ever said to me. But thank you, G.I. Jetman. Baldy lives for trolling. And again, there's good trolling and then there's bad trolling. Baldy doesn't really get... All right, I'm just going to say it. It's fucking Spec. All right. Spec and Terry will just... God damn it. Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? All right. Anyway, that has nothing to do with the topic. So, the made to order. This is where we start going, okay, is this the future? Is this where they should go? I know what people are going to say. That's what they would want. Let's see. We have only 4% say Haslab. Now, I like the Haslab. I do. I don't mind. Again, I'm coming from a different demographic of what I'm doing, and it all has everything to do with this channel, right? I could not buy nearly as much stuff as I buy if the channel wasn't generating from doing reviews, live streams, everything like that, right? So I'm in a different predicament than a lot of other people, so I do understand. But 4% are saying they rather have a Haslab. Made to order is 53%, both is 36%, and neither is 6%. And that's out of 129 votes. Okay. So 129 people have voted so far. Yet only 70 people have liked. Man, you guys, I don't understand that math, but okay. Quickly, TC says made to order should be how they gauge pre-orders. A lot of demand maybe we don't make the minimum. Well, okay, so I think the made to order it's something that's here to stay. And I think at this point, it works for certain things. So, and this is going across all the brands. So this is not just a G.I. Joe thing. And I think this is where a lot of people don't fully again, I will say it again. I believe the majority of the G.I. Joe fans are just that G.I. Joe fans. They're not toy fans. They're not toy collectors. There's nothing wrong with that, but it usually means you don't understand the industry or even so much the company that you might be dealing with, which is Hasbro here. So people will say that the Hiss didn't need to be a Haslab, but you have to understand before they did anything, they really didn't know where they were going to stand. They didn't know how well it was going to do. And it did way better than they thought. We've heard Emily talk about, like, hey, we're the little engine that could. All right. We're the little engine that could. It just keeps on chugging along. No one thought that it was going to work. So if you were going to do something now, let's say if you wanted to drop a Hiss now, this far into the classified line, it would probably be a mistake doing it as a Haslab. But to start it off, I think it was the proper thing to do. You're going to gauge and see how big the stuff is. Now you shift it over to doing a Dragonfly. Now that is something that I think you want to see how it's going to work. And then obviously the Rattler. If you don't have the Rattler, it is immense. It is huge. Once you spread those wings out, the Dragonfly is at least really thin. You can kind of put it against the wall. I know that you can fold the wings on the Dragonfly, but it still has a lot of issues. Not issues, but a lot of space that it's going to take up. So I think with this made to order, what you're looking at with classified, I think we're seeing this right now, is that more than likely anything that we back, they are going to come back with another version, with possibly the exception of the Rattler. And I only say that because of the size of it. I don't know where people would put I don't know, what was the Tiger one? I was out of G.I. Joe by then. Modulock says these classified Haslabs are designed to be reused. They'll be Tiger forcing the heck out of everything they've done so far. And I think that's what you're going to get. Either that or maybe you'll get a Locust. Now, I would rather have a Locust. I'm sorry, hold on. Gun Bunny, earmuffs. I would rather have a Locust than a Tigerfly. Now, do I think they would do a Tigerfly first? Probably. But I think a Locust would actually be better and would probably sell better, to be 100% honest. And then you look at the Snowcat. Now, they have said that there is a 3-year window before they can reuse the molds. That is now they can change it, right? This is their own internal rule. There's 3 years before they can reuse it. That's why you're getting the Hiss. The Snowcat, unlike the Wolf, does not have skis in the front. So it can be used in the jungle. It doesn't have to have ski missiles. It can have regular missiles. You can put a gun attachment to the top, which they should have done. And I even told Lenny, hey, one of my biggest issues is that it never had guns. And you could have easily put 250 cals on the side of those on the rocket launcher. Just my opinion. What do I know? Tigerette, thank you very much. I hope they don't do it because in all honesty, I do not need another Rattler that's that big. It's so big, and again, we're running out of room. All right. Ooh, skate missiles. You see, now you're talking. Like, all right. Now I want an urban one so I can have skate. But I think what we're seeing here, and again, we saw it also when you shift over to Marvel Legends, made to order that Mephisto. That I didn't realize it. That is the exact Mephisto you were gonna get with the Engine of Vengeance. And I do think the figures are a little bit different than the vehicles. They're never gonna do that Engine of Vengeance again. They just can't. It would be the worst look ever. This is what I'm actually thinking. is it becomes that version of the Havoc, which I'm sorry, I don't know why they even ever called it the Havoc, but they also have the Cobra Blue one. There's a blue one that I think it was an SCCC exclusive, or maybe, yeah, it was SCC exclusive, I think. And it was the Cobra version, and the blue is really sharp. It looks really good. But I think what they can do now is when you want to do something that is a dream project, and the dream project, in my opinion, has shifted. Originally, it was like a hiss, right? But now they realize we can do a dragonfly, we can do a rattler. This is why I think a lot of people feel that the snowcat paled in comparison. But when you look at the size of the snowcat, it is much bigger than the hiss, and all the stuff that it comes with. But I think this is the point where you can do a Thunder Machine and do it as a made to order, because you already have a fan base that you know wants this stuff. All right. But let's say you go to Ghostbusters. I don't want to say Tron. Let's say you're like, all right, I will continue to say this. I don't think Mask is as popular as people want it to be. But let's say you want to try and kick off Mask in a 1/12 scale. Well, this is the perfect thing for a Haslab. You put it out there, you see if it actually funds, and then if it funds, then you can look at, hey, are we going to create new figures for this, new vehicles for Mask? Again, I kind of feel like that's what they were trying with Tron. I feel like that's kind of what they did with Ghostbusters. And I'll say it again. I don't believe the majority of Ghostbuster fans, earmuffs, just Jeff. The majority of Ghostbuster fans are not toy fans. They're cosplayer fans. Same with like the majority of G.I. Joe fans are toy fans, not cosplayers. That's why no one wanted patches. All right. And I know for a fact the designers didn't want patches. They were pretty much told we have to. That was their way of doing something. And if you hear the hyena, that's my son laughing that bad. So doing the made to order, and you can go back and listen to what Bobby Valla has said about his Vanguard. And he said, I'm doing this no matter what. So if I sell one of them or I sell 100,000 of them, I've already paid for the tooling, or I'm paying for the tooling. Okay. It's getting done. So if only one person orders, then you're fucked, right? Then he's lost the money. If 100,000 people order it, then he's made money with his mold and everything. Hasbro, who, as we know, has the money to do it, they're also about making money, and they do everything they can to minimize their losses. At least I want to think that they do. They buy stupid products that they shouldn't. So you can't do a made to order if you're not sure the product is going to be successful. Doing a made to order of that Tron would have come back to bite them in the ass, because they would not have made their money back on that tooling. But when you have G.I. Joe and you know that there is a huge fan base for it, and these people somehow have money in their pockets and they will do it, then it works out for them. Because the other thing that they don't want to do is, let's say they retooled the Hiss as all new tooling. Now this isn't, so the tooling's already done. They do this made to order, and let's say they sell 100,000, and I'm jumping the gun saying 100,000. I'm just doing a round number, and then half the people cancel it. Now they're stuck with those, trying to sell them off out of the Stinger. That's why they can't give those Stingers away right now. But I think that at this point, you can do a made to order with G.I. Joe and it's going to be successful. I believe you can do a made to order with Marvel Legends. It's going to be successful. They're going to make their money. Although, you know, that Dragon Man, well, it was sold out. Well, you can go pick it up now. Now it's jumped up in price by like $20 on the Hasbro site, but that means so many people cancel it, and however many they made, they probably made some extra. Not everyone wants it. Modulok says, made to order is most beneficial to Hasbro if it's primarily reused tooling. Agreed. Haslabs are perfect for anything newly tooled. That's kind of that's kind of what I want to get at with the topic. Is I agree 100%. I'm going to talk about that in one second. Backwoods jumping in here saying they should do a G.I. Joe headquarters and Cobra Terradrome as a Haslab with lights. I've already said, I've told you guys what the idea of a Terradrome Haslab is. You do a half Terradrome where you can push it against the wall. You have a display, right? And it comes with a fire bat, but you make it so if you buy two of them, you can put it together, make it so that the fire bat can go in. You end up with two different fire bats. So that way, if you have the room, you can put two of them together, or by Colossus, or you push it against the wall and it becomes a display, but doesn't take up as much space. But I'm with you on when they wanted to do tooling, they go ahead and they're going to do these Haslabs. Now, my feeling is, and I know I backed, or I know I ordered the Arctic Kiss, and I knew that I was going to. My feeling is, if we do a Haslab and we back that tooling, because you are a $1 billion company, and this goes for Mattel, this goes for, guys like Jazzware and Spin Master, right? Hasbro, obviously. They shouldn't redo those. We purchased those when you had the money to do it. I know they're going to, and it sucks. I feel differently with a Kickstarter, right? I feel differently with Skeletron, or if Operation Monster Force does stuff like that, because it's a small company this is their way to get the product out for the people. And yes, people can say that is, hypocritical, because technically it's still the same thing, and it is. But I have less of a problem with that. With that said, I also knew that they were going to do that. So, Coda says, "What? No giveaways?" I joke, of course. Great stream. Thank you very much, Coda. But I think at this point, what we have is, and again, exactly what Modulok was saying, is that when it comes to some of these, what the hell? No! Someone have an extra foot for a Colossus that literally broke when he fell. Does anyone still have does Ollie still have whoever has the leg for the foot for Colossus? I can't believe he fell and actually broke. Cheap Hasbro. So now, again, if they do another Age of Apocalypse Colossus, I would definitely be buying one. No, I guess he's not so tough. But do you need that leg? That's the question. If you don't need it, hit me up later, Shane. Technically, it broke off camera, but yes, it broke live. I actually knocked him, but he literally shattered. Like, the foot just shattered right off there. It was very disappointing. It's my own fault for moving him to show you guys. JRH says Hasbro, King of Planes obsolescence. um. Oh, if he's he was not sold out last Tuesday. So, definitely call it a danger room now. Yeah, I mean, if I can't find one, again, they may still have the leg and the figure at uh at Ollie's. You should have. I would have knocked them over. Probably would have broke a long time ago. Anyway, yeah, I am gonna blame. Hey, I don't. Hey, I do not take responsibility for anything. It's always someone else's fault. Um, it's always someone else's fault. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Right? You know what I should do is I should sue all of you. I should sue all of you for making jokes about it because that's defamation of I don't know. Joey RH, somewhere a sweatshop fires up in China. This is true. Yeah, it is. I don't know. I don't know if they still have any of these figures left. Anyway, I'll figure something out. Hey Shane, if you have one, honest to God, like hit me up. I mean, we talk enough. If not, I'll like I will weld it on there or do whatever. So now I lost totally my train of thought. Other than Dwight, if you're watching, I'm just throwing it out there. If you want to go ahead and maybe retool a little bit of the Build-A-Figure Age of Apocalypse Colossus, you can do it now. I won't have any gripes about it. All right, Shane, I'll talk to you this week about it. I appreciate it, man. Hi, it's me, sis, and that's why I don't tell anyone my name is Chris Kringle of 2475 North Pole, so you can't sue me. All right, I gotta take a break. That really derailed the show. I'm just kidding. I derail the show all the time. So, again, I think what I'm trying to get is, I think the made to order for GI Joe right now, with medium sized to smaller vehicles, is the way to go. And I think you can start going to going back to the dream projects. You know, they saw on the Marvel Legends side, hey, people will back a large size figure like Galactus, the Sentinel. I don't remember how well Giant Man did. Giant Man was towards the end. I don't think Giant Man hit all its stretch goals. But they did see what the demand for a Sentinel was. And they said, hey, you know what? We can do X-Men 97 Sentinel as a made to order. And I'm assuming they probably reuse some of that tooling. I haven't really looked at the two of them, kind of comparing them or anything. But this is where I think you can do something like that. They can do the made to order, and they already have most of the tooling. Same time said the Giant Man didn't hit the last tier. That's what I thought. I thought it missed the last tier. MCR, so the Skyhawk is something they can easily do, and I think that they will do it. Okay. There's no way in hell that the marketing people over at Hasbro that are doing stuff for G.I. Joe, along with the designers and everything, they have to be looking at what other companies are doing. They have to be, first off, I know they're looking at what Ramen does because they have sent cease and desist during Joe Fest about the bridge layer, the Wolverine and their Tech Mauler or whatever. Again, he showed it to us, so we know it was real, and he made enough things different that they really couldn't sue. Unlike, I think, what he kind of did with his Mask stuff. But Mask is not nearly as big of a property, so they made concessions with that. They have to be looking at Van's hobby. I know they are because they sent a cease and desist. That is why they made their not Skyhawk with those big wings. But also said, oh, by the way, if you don't put all the wing parts on it, you can have something that looks like the Skyhawk. So they have to be looking at this. They have to be seeing what collectors will buy. But you can't just look at what guys like you and everyone that's watching this will buy. You really have to be looking at what the common, like the common toy collectors, the common G.I. Joe collectors will buy. Because you can't just overproduce the stuff and be like, well, look at this. You know, all these toy collectors were buying the Fans Hobby thing. A whole bunch of people will buy it. Well, they probably won't. There's a lot of people that won't spend $100. Some people think it's not worth it. Some people go, hey, I don't have space for a Stinger, a Vamp, a All Striker. I mean, again, those things by themselves don't take up a lot of room. Those three things together, along with a Hiss and a Snowcat and a Rattler, they take up a lot of room. Modulac says, if we get a Fang, it will come with some random female figure based on the Valkyrie buck. I don't think so. I think it will actually come with a male pilot, just like the Walmart exclusive. And they have, and again, I have no inside knowledge, but they've shown it too many times now on the back of boxes. They hinted at so much stuff, and we were all like, yeah, we're not really going to get a polar bear. Holy shit, look, a polar bear. So I have a feeling we're going to we're going to see that. And I think you can only go down the, hey, here's another female driver pilot so many times. And I don't have a problem with it because I think they're actually pretty good bucks and they do modify them. But let's be honest, we need a nice mix and match. But again, what Modulac had said, yeah, again, I think it makes sense for them and not for us, though. Not for us, for them to reuse our I don't think it's good for us that when we back something, they're going to reuse the tooling. I'm smart enough to know that they're not going to. And yes, it is nice that they have said, hey, this is the only version that you're going to get. And it's smart on their part to say, hey, you know what? The Haslab that you're backing is the original OG version. The Hiss, Dragonfly, Rattler, Snowcat. Again, I wouldn't mind a Locust. I don't really want a Locust because I don't have room. But I really like the color. But when it comes to some of these properties, the made to order that they know if it's going to do well, I think is the right way to do it. Stanley earlier mentioned a Slave One or Fire Spray for our Haslab Black series. The way there's success with the Black series vehicles, that's one of those things where I'd go, you know what? I would do a Haslab Fire Spray because if it doesn't fund or if we don't make enough made to order to make a profit, we don't want to be stuck with this mold. And yeah, you could do a couple different variants. I mean, they did it with the Ecto one. They can do it with the Fire Spray, and I think that's the perfect vehicle for it. after that, maybe you get people into wanting to buy Haslab or Black Series vehicles. The Snowspeeder was a bust. The TIE Fighter was a real bust. Now, the TIE Fighter I can kind of understand because it was of the new movies, and the thing is gigantic. The Snowspeeder, I just don't understand. That thing is awesome. I've always loved the Snowspeeder. So, and there's different uses they could use for that because they used it in some of the recent movies. What is this? Bikini Zorano will be the new retro Flint variant. But yeah, it's definitely, it's just one of those things where if a property gets to a point where they know it's going to sell, and I think G.I. Joe has proven that, but again, they definitely overproduced on those stingers. And if you look at Walmart starting off at $75, well, I can tell you right away that the smaller companies, Sergeant Reds, Helidope Toys, they were paying more than that when they ordered them. So I believe that Hasbro, the G.I. Joe, marketing, whatever, they said, hey, you know what? We're going to give you these vehicles at a cheaper cost. They were 100 MSRP originally. You can sell them for 75 and make a profit. They want to get them out of their warehouse. There is a reason why BBTS had them for $50. I was like, man, these things are going to be sold out quickly. They never sold out. That means BBTS has so many stingers. And I believe they sold even more stingers because of all the stuff that Gridiron did for them. And there were some other companies, but Gridiron was the big one. They were definitely the big one. But yeah, it's I think there's still a place for the Haslab. And I do think with G.I. Joe, it should shift to True Dream projects. I know people have mentioned a G.I. Joe pit. I don't know how well that works. The G.I. Joe base, again, that's one of those things where, how do you do it? All right, Tony, I will, I guess I'll see you tomorrow, basically. I don't know. Are you on Circle of Jerks or not? If they go for, I'll probably get one too. I had the idea of maybe doing one with, for the police officers. I know Tony did one with the police officers. Evo Dookie did a police Jeep. And for $50, yeah, it's one of those. Again, for me, it's a Terradrome. And I mentioned like a half Terradrome, so you can put it up against the wall. All right, and it has like you have a backdrop. Now, the backdrop is not like the cardboard backdrop. It's not a tier. Okay, you hear that it's not a tier. But if you buy two of them, they are made so they can connect together, and you can actually have a Terradrome. And the only reason why I say half one is so you can push it up against the wall. I've seen people say they want the superstructure of the USS Flag. I'm like, why? The deck is what's really fun because you can land shit on it, but that's too big. I think something like that. I think as much as I don't really want one, I think the Havoc would work because the Havoc is very big. And again, you'd have to make it larger. I think is it Destro's bigger vehicle. I never had him. I was out by the time I got that. Not the despoiler. That's coming. Right? What was Destro's personal vehicle was the spoiler, right? Yeah, that's coming, just so you guys know. The Demon. I think the Demon would be perfect. It's very large. You're shifting away from Cobra and GI Joe. You're doing the Iron Grenadiers. I've said I think that I know people don't like hearing this. I think that a Thunder Machine would be perfect for a Haslab because you do different tiers where you have a different front end. So we all know that it has the Firebird front end, it has a jet engine in the back, it has 2 Gatling guns, but you make it so it has different tiers where it has a front end that looks like a Charger or a Challenger. And then you give a different style jet engine in the back. And then you give 2 different types of machine guns. So if you order multiple ones, you can make different Thunder Machines and call it whatever you want. Because this is what the Dreadnoks would do, right? They only made one of those, but now you're making different versions. But yeah, I think Lego Star Wars Kids. Sorry guys, Demon seems to be B-list. Sorry, I would get it, but I don't know. I agree, but you asked about something that is larger, right? That's the biggest thing. You got to be looking at stuff that is bigger, and I think you really need to lean into the Iron Grenadiers. Now, if you're pushing out a bunch of Iron Grenadier stuff, that the spoiler comes out, you got Darklon out there, that's when you start going, okay, we can lean into this. Because it still is technically a bad guy, so it all works and stuff like that. Pop Blender jumping in here. Nice to see Pop here. We have Dark Eons in here. They should make a 12x12 diorama playset for yourself. So the other thing, okay, for Night Raven is too big. Sky Striker, Night Raven, they're too big. I know people don't want to hear that. Remember, the F-14, the Sky Striker, is already scaled down in the 1/18 scale. The Night Raven is the longest of all the planes. It sounds great. Go watch Baldy's video where he's running around with the Sky Striker. It's massive. The other thing that I think would be an amazing dream project for G.I. Joe Haslab would be the tactical battle platform. And that's because it's already its own table. And you could make it. I mean, I have a very cheap $30 table that I leave stuff on that my Roomba comes by and smashes into, and it doesn't do any damage to it. Right? So I can see that working perfectly. And you make it so you already have the spot for the Skyhawk, but since it's going to be raised and you're not really going to have it in water, you make it so there's a ledge there that you can put a devilfish on. So it looks like it's actually in the water sitting there. It's little things like that that you could do. Now, I saw somebody mention something. Where was it? I think a Conquest is something that could fully be done as a Haslab. It is much smaller. You know this. It is much smaller. It'd probably be Rattler size, maybe even a little bit shorter. The wings, because of the reverse angle of them, they're not as big. And even though the Conquest is not nearly as cool as an F-14 Tomcat, the Conquest is still really cool. I've always liked that. So I think that is something that could be done for sure. J. Tiago say, yeah, right. Yeah, Night Raven would take up a lot of space. Yeah, even if they gave you mounts to hang it, and that's what you would have to do, or you should do, is make it so, hey, there are specific mounts so you can hang it from your ceiling. Now, I would completely Making sure that thing is secure. So, and then we have Ian Echo or Nice Diorama.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
Never seen you before, or maybe I have, but I just like playing it. All right, so again, you know what? I don't know how I totally missed this one. The dream project to me is still the whale, because again, I see this here. Alex Martinez saying the hydrofoil. No, the hydrofoil cannot be made before the whale, and the whale is the perfect dream project because first off, anyone that's seen a 3D printed one knows how large it actually is, but it holds so many characters. It holds so many figures. It can also be your display piece. The reason why I say that you cannot do a hydrofoil is because G.I. Joe really only has one bigger water vehicle to go against the hydrofoil. The Devilfish doesn't count. Where Cobra has a very iconic one, and it's a medium size, which is in the form of the what the hell is it? What the hell's the name of that? This one you have the total blank. Water moccasin, which is coming too, just so you guys know. Yeah, it's not, but I mean, hey, you guys continue to say that it is, but it's not. So I think the whale would be perfect. Again, it holds a lot of people. Someone said the tomahawk. Now I mentioned that I believe that you could do a tomahawk classified scale. You could do a tomahawk classified scale and then make it so you can convert it into a 1/18 scale actual size of a Chinook. You'd have separate seats that you could pull out. Obviously, the base of it, if you've ever seen Chinooks, they're absolutely huge. The tomahawk is not the size of an actual Chinook. But if you made a tomahawk one and then you made it fitted so you could swap out the interior to have different seats that could actually fit not only 3.75 figures, but also the 4-inch figures, you have something that would appeal to both factions of G.I. Joe. Just my opinion. Okay. This would be a complete fail. Into Mystery says, I'd rather have a Black Hawk. This would be a complete fail. And the reason why it would be a complete fail is because the people buying G.I. Joe, they only want what's already come in the 80s. I'm not saying I wouldn't want one because I think a Black Hawk would be fucking awesome. And if you did a Black Hawk version of G.I. Joe, again, awesome. But their issue is when they do something new, the fans throw a hissy fit about it until they get it in hand, but not enough people would get it in hand. And right now, everyone, they saw that Grim Viper and went, oh, this is awful. Every person that's got that Grim Viper loves it. So for someone like me into mystery, I think it'd be fucking awesome. But I also like newer stuff. Majority of the people collecting classified don't. And again, it's like they just want what they had in the 80s. So that's the biggest issue. Um, intermission. I wasn't saying they should make it. Just what? No. And again, I think it would be awesome. I mean, my opinion. I think it would be awesome to do. We've heard Lenny say, "Hey, what would you guys think about a whole new vehicle?" And the guys literally went, no one cared. Because God forbid we have something that's not from the 80s. Now, again, you go look at my top 10 list and you're like, almost all your figures are like 80 O-ring figures. And you're absolutely correct. I love those, but I also like seeing newer stuff being done. Cressio Crow says, the Grim Viper was just okay. I didn't love it. The Grim Viper suffered from not having more accessories and a better weapon. Now, I know you have other weapons. I know you have 3D printed weapons, so I understand that. But that's where that's the only place that figure suffers from. You know, in my opinion, I really like the figure. I think it's actually better than the range. I like the look of it better than the Range Viper and also the Range Viper that came in the 3-pack. But anyway, but yeah, again, there's a lot of different things that they could do. I don't know how we got onto what they could do. I just think that when you like Haslab or made to order, and again, if you're new to the channel and you're like, dude, you're not really talking about the topic, Monday Night Toy ramblings. That's what I do. I start rambling on about shit. I just think that when it comes to these dream projects, and again, it seems like most people are here for G.I. Joe, but again, it goes to Star Wars, it goes to Marvel Legends. You know what people want in Marvel Legends is, I know people say they want the X-Jet. That thing would be huge too. They want a Danger Room. And the best thing about a Danger Room, if they did that for the X-Men, for Marvel Legends, is you make sure that if someone wants it for G.I. Joe or Operation Monster Force or any other brand, that you can remove any X logo so it can be used for other displays. That's how that thing funds and goes hog wild. That's what you do. Will they do something like that? I don't know. I mean, Hasbro is a billion-dollar company, which usually means that they make less mistakes. They make better decisions. They make more better decisions than bad decisions. I don't know if that's fully true because they've done some really stupid stuff, and I don't think that the person that's leading them is very small. It is very smart. But yeah. Into Mystery says an actual sentient Danger Room based on the Shire technology. Again, you can do whatever. Again, you could do any type of Danger Room that you want, but anything that you do with the X Mansion or Danger Room, you have to make it so we can remove aspects that no longer say, "Hey, this is the X-Men." That way, you can use a whole bunch of other stuff. Remember, here's the thing with the water moccasin that people seem to not understand or forget. They weren't sure how vehicles were going to do. So that's why you didn't get a Wolverine with CoverGirl. That's why you didn't get a water moccasin with Copperhead. But just wait. We might just be getting one this year. But I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Please, if you have not headed over to Toy Optics, head over there and give him a sub, as he is just over 100 away from hitting that vaunted 1,000. And I got to tell you, hitting 1,000 is, it seems like it's going to be forever. And then when you finally do it, there's so much release. But yeah, he's a good guy. You'll like his content. I think he makes some really good content. To be 100% honest, I'm not just saying that because he's a buddy of mine. Although I would say that too. I'm gonna get out of here tomorrow. Tune in to Circular Jerks over at Baldy Locks Reviews. Ken from Toy Connection, aka not all. Ken from Toy Connection, also Delta 17. He will be on, and I believe he's going to be talking a little bit about Delta 17 and expanding on what they put out there that winter is coming, what they're going to have for Joe Fest, and what figures they might have out before the end of next year because they're actually in the process of it right now. This Thursday, I will have 1/5 of the Circle Jerks on Action Figure Media. Terry, he will be joining me for Thursday with a friend, so please tune in there. That will be a lot of fun too. He has a lot to say. He has a Kickstarter that I believe he's going to be launching soon, so you probably want to hear about that too. So, all right, everyone, have a wonderful night, and I will see you guys all over on Baldy's channel at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Take care.